Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama,
Rama
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Well, thank you very much for joining this seminar. I don't know how many of you speak English. How many of you, can you raise your hand? Those perfectly understanding English? Yes? So how many of you will receive translation?
Yes. Translation.
Yeah, I will translate in German.
In German.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a seminar that we prepared and gave quite a few years ago already in Gauradesh. It went a little bit out of hand, this seminar, because I was supposed to give the Jamastami lecture in Gauradesh. But then His Grace Vedasar Prabhu, he arrived in Gauradesh unexpectedly. So we gave him the seat of the Jamastami lecture. I think it was 3 years ago, Jamastami time. But the concept of this seminar was in my mind, so it became, from one session it became 4 sessions. So it grew a little bit. And it's still growing, because when I was going over the presentation, new inspiration came. But time is always limited. So therefore we will maybe skip a few slides here and there. Also because there is translation needed. So if there is translation needed, it always goes a bit slower. Right? But before we start, we first try to evoke some auspiciousness. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyanam Ganastalakaya Chakshurunnitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Parakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanasya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagara Raghunatam Vitantam Sajivam Satvetam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Namaste Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Vigapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatrubhyasya Kripasindhu Devaja Patitanam Pavameyo Vaishnaveyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada ki.
Prabhu, with your permission, I want to make a very short introduction.
Sure.
Yes, very short. Yes. I remember you don't like to tell about you anything, and that's why I would like to make a very small introduction about Prabhuji, just for my own purification. And yeah, many of you already know Prabhuji very well. Last time Prabhuji was here at Nityan Trodasi. We have 2 sessions on Nityan Trodasi, very wonderful sessions. And now we are very fortunate again to get his blessings. Prabhuji has joined ISKCON in 1989. It's already 36 years, Prabhuji, 36 years. So it's a very long journey, and he's serving ISKCON since 36 years already. And in 1991, Prabhuji got the first initiation. In 1992, he got the second initiation. And since 1992 till 2000, he was in Gauradesh. And he was serving there in Gauradesh constantly. And he was also the Sankirtan leader for Holland and Belgium, and Namhata leader and Sankirtan leader. So such a great service as a Sankirtan leader. I know like how much hard work and dedication and how much you have to be without ego for becoming a Sankirtan leader. And this is a great service at the Lotus Feet of Srila Prabhupada. And since 2001, now Prabhuji is serving as the temple president of Gauradesh. And 2000,
Since 2001.
2021. Yes. Sorry, so since 2021, Prabhuji is serving as the temple president of Gauradesh. And he's leading by self-example, and he is doing so many services also by himself with all the directions. With many. When I was last time in the on a working day, I was there with the Narhari Mataji and Nandimati Mataji from Simhachalam, and Prabhuji was on the altar. So he was doing the Pujari Seva, and he do all kind of sevas, and he has a glorious wife, a wonderful family, and the glorious wife, Govinda Mohani Mataji, and children. And Prabhuji is also working, although he is running and leading a big temple community. His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj ki
Maharaj. Please allow me to have this seat in front of you, Maharaj.
So, I was just giving a short introduction that in spite of leading a big temple community in Gauradesh, so much of demanding and challenging boundary conditions, and growing the temple community, Gauradesh is growing constantly, and we are very happy that Gauradesh is also cooperating with Gauradesh very nicely. We had a now youth festival last week. It was a 3-day youth festival just last week, 31st October to 2nd November, and His Grace Shyamananda Prabhu, they are both colleagues working together in Gauradesh. So Shyamananda Prabhu from Gauradesh was here, and he led our youth mela, and it was a successful youth mela. We have Maharaj, we have 50 youth from university, and they were staying in the temple for 31st and 2nd November. And we had this wonderful youth preaching initiative, and it was possible only because of Ekchatyagram Prabhu, because he allowed to send Shyamanand Prabhu here, and Shyamanand Prabhu has led the whole program, and it was a very wonderful thing. And Prabhuji is also working in corporate sector. He is leading the family life, Grasta life, working in the corporate sector and leading a big temple community. So thank you so much, Prabhu, for giving your blessings here for Gauradesh. And may this collaboration, may this cooperation of Gauradesh and Gauradesh becomes more and more strong in the future, and we get benefit from that. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Please chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sri Sri Vijay Gaura Gatyalnitaya ki, Sri Sri Radha Gopinath ki, Sri Prabhupada ki, His Holiness Bhakti Bhushan Swami Maharaj ki.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Omkareshwar Prabhu, for your kind words. One thing is true, what you said, that's that I have a wonderful wife who is doing a lot of service in Gauradesh. That's the one thing that I picked up from your little introduction. Yeah, so as I mentioned during Nityananda Trayodasi, I think it was at the end of the Sunday Feast program, one devotee reminded me today that His Holiness Kadambakana Maharaj, just a few months before he left his body, because Maharaj and myself were quite close because of serving. He's from Holland, I'm originally also from Holland. And he did Namahatma preaching, I also did Namahatma preaching, so we had a lot of contact. But when he almost left his body, then he gave me like a huge list of things that I should take care of when he would not anymore be there. And one of the points that was on that list is to strengthen the connection between Gauradesh and Gauradesh. So that's the main purpose why, of course, also for my purification, but because it was his instruction to keep that connection strong and to increase the strength between the two yatras of Gauradesh and Gauradesh. So maybe in Gauradesh our focus is on Radha Gopinath, and here the focus is more on Gauranga and beautiful Dayal Nitai, but in fact the identity is, according to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, identity is the same. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritiya Vadini Shakti Rashma Ekatmanava Pibuhi Pura Bedayam Kato Kukto Chaitanya Kyam Prakata Ananata Tvayam Chaityamaktam Radha Bhava Juti Suvalitam Naomi Krishna Swarupa. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that the absolute truth is one. Will you all agree, right? The absolute truth is one. But that one absolute truth manifested itself eternally in two, Radha and Krishna, for the sake of increasing rasa, for the sake of increasing pleasure, for the sake of having interactions, loving interactions between Radha and Krishna. But the wonderful thing is that those two became one again, Chaitanya Kyam, Chaitanya Ekam. That absolute truth became one again in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But although that Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, he came in the mood and in the complexion of Srimati Radharani. So in fact, Gauranga here, Radha Gopinath in Radhadesh, it's the same. It's the same meditation, and therefore this connection between Radhadesh and Gauradesh should be very strong. So that's beautiful. So about this seminar, it's quite a voluminous content. The seminar is called 999, Cancelling Your Stay in This Material World. And as I was mentioning, that it came from a Jamastami lecture that I was supposed to give, but I never gave, because His Grace Vedasar Prabhu, he arrived in Radhadesh, and I offered him the seat because of his stature. But the concept of the topic that I wanted to discuss on Jamastami was an exciting one. So I continued working on that lecture, but then it became a seminar of like 3-4 sessions. So that's what we are going to do together. I hope that this seminar will help you, all of you, also me, in igniting the desire to become more serious in our spiritual life. So I'm very grateful for this opportunity to share this seminar with you. So what's the meaning of 999? In the spiritual circles, in the numerology, they say the number 9 is actually a number that signifies completion or the end of a cycle. Like the 9 is the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you go to 0 and again to 1. So it's the end of a cycle. It's a sign to move on, and it's a point of closure. It's closing something in your life and to start something new. So completion, new beginning, exploration, widening your horizons, a sign that you need to make a change. Do you sometimes have that feeling in your spiritual life that something needs to change? You know, I'm stagnating somehow or other after all these years. As Prabhu was saying, I'm trying to practice Krishna consciousness since 36 years. I think Maharaj is practicing Krishna consciousness more than 50 years or even longer. So we all come to a point in spiritual life that we feel like we are stuck. So we want to get rid of all the stuff that blocks us from spiritual growth, and we want to restart our spiritual life. So I hope that by this seminar a trigger is there to become more serious in our practice of spiritual life. And a sign that you're ready to make a huge move in your spiritual journey. And as I'm working in the corporate world, I'm in the logistics, working with items, item number references and order number references and statuses of orders, working a lot with IT together. So many times when I talk with IT, then I say, can you put this status in 999? Meaning, can you cancel this order completely? You know, can you just remove it
Yes.
from the system, right? From
Yes,
Kalish
yes, Prabhu, yes. We are also having this ERP system, Enterprise Resource Planning in SAP.
Yes,
And we also
SAP.
use this line number when the activity is closed.
Yes, it's closed, it's
Yes.
finished, it's removed, it's like cancelled.
Cancel, yes.
And in the UK, 999 is also the emergency number,
Ah.
right? So spiritual life is actually an emergency for the soul, with the conditioned soul. It's urgent to progress in spiritual life. Do we agree?
Yes.
It's not just like hanging, you know, Prabhupada said it's not like armchair philosophy, like you can, it's something really serious, something really active. So that's the idea is that by practicing what we are going to discuss today and tomorrow, we actually want to get rid of the cycle of birth and death. Especially if we realize how much foreign this cycle of birth and death is to the pure soul and how much suffering is linked to conditioned life. We want to stop it. Are you ready to stop the cycle of birth and death?
Yes. Yes.
You want that or not?
Yes.
So what does it mean in the devotional context, this 9 plus 9 plus 9? Well, the first real session is about the 9 processes of devotional service as given to us by Prahlad Maharaj. The second session of the seminar is related to the 9 stages of bhakti according to Srila Rupa Goswami. And the last 9 are the 9 symptoms of devotees who are almost reaching the bhava platform of the advancement in spiritual life. So these are the 3 sessions that we are discussing in today and tomorrow. It's a lot to talk about. I think it's very nice to meditate on these 3 9s. First of all, we will talk in the first session after the introduction. We will talk about this, so we can maybe chant together after me. Sri Paranada Uvacha
Sri Pranada Vacha
Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu
Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu
Smaranam Pada Sevanam
Smaranam Pada Sevanam
Archanam Vandanam Dasyam
Archanam Vandanam Dasyam
Sakyam Atmani Vedanam.
Sakyam Atmani Vedanam.
Somebody likes to read the translation? Yes, Guru?
Prahlad Maharaj said, hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering the Lord one's best friend, and surrendering everything unto him. In other words, serving him with the body, mind, and words. These 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge.
Yes. So this is from the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam. This is Prahlad Maharaj speaking. So first, the process of devotional service starts with Shravanam. Shravanam means to hear about Krishna's name, form, pastimes, and qualities. We can actually see in these 9 processes, on the one hand, you can see them as separate processes in devotional service, standing on itself, but it can also be seen as a climbing stairs from Shravanam to Atmanivedanam. So everything starts with Shravanam, hearing. There's so many examples in the Srimad Bhagavatam where somebody's spiritual life started with hearing. Like, for example, Narada Muni, who heard from the 4 Bhaktivedantas, from the 4 the four sages, or Dhruva Maharaj, who heard from Narada Muni, or Valmiki, who heard from Narada Muni, or Mrigari, who heard from Narada Muni, or Prahlad Maharaj, who heard from Narada Muni, or Arjuna, who heard from Krishna, or Lord Chaitanya, who heard from Ramananda Roy. There's so many examples where the living entity became enlightened by hearing. A very good example is Rukmini. Rukmini heard from whom? Anyone? She was living in Vidarbha with her father in a palace, and from who did she hear? You know the story of Rukmini? 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So she heard from travelers who came from Mathura, and they came to Vidarbha to do trade and to do, business. And they were talking about how wonderful was Krishna performing in Mathura. And when Rukmini heard about the wonderful pastimes of Krishna, she immediately wanted to marry him. It was so strong. Or the wives of the Brahmanas.
Yes.
The Yagyapatnis, the wives of the Brahmanas in Vrindavan. Yeah. They heard from the gopis. While buying groceries and milk products on the market, the gopis, they were selling those products, and while selling the products, they were also talking about Krishna. Oh, Krishna did this, Krishna did that, wonderful Krishna. And then these wives of the Brahmanas that became so inspired that when Krishna and Balaram knocked on their door, actually were the cowherd boys, on behalf of Krishna and Balaram, they knocked on the doors of the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas chased them away. Don't disturb our yagyas, our rituals. But the wives, when they were approached, they immediately gave everything that they had. They surrendered everything, just because they had already heard from the gopis in the market. So this is a very powerful process, Ramana. So what happens when you do Shravana, when you listen carefully? Then whenever you start talking, you talk about what you heard. So that's Kirtana. So from Shravanam, it's very natural to start Kirtana. We will talk about it in the first session. And when you hear and you chant what you've heard, then what happens? You will start remembering. Smaranam will start. That's the nature. Like, for example, I did a lot of hearing. I knew I had to give a seminar. Then now I'm doing the chanting. So automatically the memories becomes very strong. It's a natural way to remember Krishna. And then, when we have attained that level of remembrance of Krishna, then real devotional service starts, Padasevanam. Do you think that you can do Padasevanam without remembering Krishna? Padasevanam means to serve the lotus feet of Guru and Krishna. Do you think that you need to do anything with your mind while engaging in devotional service? Tashmat sarveshu kaleshu mam manusmara yujyacha. Krishna says very clearly, actually Krishna was tricking a little bit. Arjuna didn't want to fight. And he really tried to find so many excuses not to fight. And then Krishna said at one point in the 8th chapter of the Gita, Tashmat sarveshu kaleshu mam manusmara. And Arjuna, when he heard that, he was immediately thinking, oh, wonderful. Tashmat sarveshu kaleshu, at all times, mam manusmara. Krishna says, at all times you remember me. So Arjuna was thinking, that's great, I just remember Krishna. But then Krishna said, Yudhyacha.
Yes, Yudhyacha.
But you also fight. Krishna. So you fight, but you remember me. Krishna said, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara. You always remember me while engaging in your duty. So Padasevanam includes the smarana. Right? You can see that. And then after Padasevanam, after engaging in practical devotional services, in following the instructions of the spiritual master, then you come to a point that you get second initiation, and you can engage in deity worship. Then you come to the level of archana. You can engage in temple worship. As Gauradesh was saying, last week we met and I had to fill up a gap, as it happens in temples. You have a lot of gaps, where you have a service necessity, but there is no one to do the service. You have that in here in Köln?
Yes.
You don't have that in Köln, right?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
all, there is one temple in Europe, they don't have that problem. It's the Bhaktivedanta Manor. Many times devotees from the manor, they come to Gauradesh and they are amazed that there are so many opportunities to do seva. Because in the manor, all the congregational members are fighting with each other to get that one spot of seva. And they complain that there is no possibility to do any seva because all the sevas are already covered. But in Gauradesh you have like a WhatsApp group of all the pujaris, and every Sunday you receive the list. Oh, on Monday we have this gap, that gap, that gap, that gap, that gap. Then on Tuesday, and then just the whole week is full of gaps. So then everybody's encouraged to come forward and to engage in temple deity worship. So you go on the altar, you do archana, and naturally when you engage in deity worship, Vandanam also is included, because there are so many mantras, so many prayers, so many prayers that you have to learn when you go on the altar. In the beginning, how many of you are doing deity worship here? Yes? So do you remember one of the first times that you did, for example, waking up the deities or offering prasadam? It's like I was sweating, It's like to get everything done on time with all the prayers that you have to complete. It was like, it was a race against the clock. You have to learn a lot of prayers when you're on the altar. And then you come to the level of dasha. Now, there is a difference between Padasevanam and dasha. Padasevanam, you could say, is when the temple president announces that there is a lot of service to be done and he asks for volunteers, then you can step forward and say, okay, I will do this plot, I will do this plot, I will do this service. So this is called Padasevanam. You come to the temple and you do a seva. Darshan actually means that your life becomes full of service, your identity becomes das. Now you become a servant of the Lord. 24 hours a day you identify yourself as a servant of Krishna. And when you do that, your relationship with Krishna becomes so sweet and so close and so intimate, then you can move on to Sakyam. You're not only the servant of Krishna, but actually you become also the friend of Krishna. And because of that sweet interaction, you naturally get the trigger for Atmanivedanam. And Atmanivedanam means you actually give your soul to Krishna. Here, I give myself to you fully. That's Atmanivedanam. So you could say that there is a sequence between Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam. So one leads to the next, you could say. And then after this Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, do you know the next verse? Anyone is Sanskrit expert? You know the next verse, 24? Can chant together. Iti pumsa pita Vishnu bhaktis jannavalakshana kriyeta bhagavat kyadatam manye ditam uttamam. It's a very beautiful verse. It says, Iti, these, pumsa arpita Vishnu, these ways for the human being, pumsa means a human, arpita means to worship. These kinds of worship towards Vishnu, bhaktis jannavalakshana, are the 9 forms of devotional service. Kriyeta. And these activities, why are they so special? Bhagavati Ada. Ada means directly or perfectly. It perfectly links you to Bhagavati. You get a direct link by engaging in these 9 processes of devotional service. You get a direct link with Bhagavan, with Krishna. And therefore Prahlad Maharaj says to Hiranyakasipu, Tan manye aditam uttamam. Adita means knowledge. Therefore I think, manye, that this knowledge is uttamam, is supreme. Uttamam, you can say it's supreme, it can also mean uttama, it can also mean it transcends the mode of ignorance. It's completely beyond the material existence. So it's a beautiful verse composed by Prahlad Maharaj. So that's about the first 9 processes of devotional service. And then we talk in the second session, we will talk about the 9 stages of bhakti from Shraddha to Prema, which was given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually to Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami, he used it in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, or the Nectar of Devotion. So this is the translation. Would you like to read the translation?
9 stages in bhakti. In the beginning there must be faith. Then one becomes interested in associating with pure devotees. Thereafter one is initiated by the spiritual master and executes the regulative principles under his orders. Thus one is freed from all unwanted habits and becomes firmly fixed in devotional service. Thereafter one develops taste and attachment. This is the way of sadhana bhakti.
Next time, this one.
The execution of devotional service. According to the regulative principles, gradually emotions intensify and finally there is an awakening of love. This is the gradual development of love of Godhead for the devotee interested in Krishna consciousness.
So Ado, Shraddha, everything begins with Shraddha. And when you have a little bit Shraddha, a little bit faith, then the natural inclination of a person who has some faith, at least that happened with me, is you look for those who have more faith, or those who are, knowing more about the process of devotional service, And then you look for the devotees, sadhu sangha, tata sadhu sangha. And when you come in contact with the devotees, then it's very natural, the devotees immediately engage you in devotional service. When I entered the temple for the first time in '89 in Amsterdam, then my temple president at that time was Jai Gopal Prabhu. He's a Prabhupada disciple. And he was very merciful because 2 minutes after me and my best friend entered the temple, we were already in his office and he gave us a pair of kartals and he immediately was teaching us how to play kartals. And then 3 minutes later we were already singing Nama Om Vishnu. And 10 minutes later I was in the kitchen cutting vegetables. So this is what happens when you come in contact with the devotees. You immediately engage in devotional service. You have that experience. There is no lack of service. So when a devotee sees you coming in, you say, oh, would you like to do this, that? Kirtan, and Harinams. I remember the day after I was already on the street distributing back to goddess. So it goes very fast in spiritual life when you are in the association of devotees. So,
Maharaj was telling then Prabhupada came, then how the services were given to devotees then Prabhupada came in Germany, and then Maharaj came first time to a temple. That Maharaj, you were asked to do some chapatis or
I used to only go to the temple to eat. And after a while, the devotees asked me to give something, because I had no money. They taught me how to make chapatis.
Such a transcendental.
That was your first service, Maharaj?
Huh?
That was your first service?
My first service.
That's great, you see.
It's very difficult to make chapati.
Yeah, it's not an easy first service to do that. No, that's nice. And then when we engage in devotion service, then you come to the level of anartha nivritti. We talk about this more in detail in the second session. Anartha nivritti means that all the unwanted things in the heart will be removed by the mercy of the Lord. And then when 75%, Prabhupada said one time in New York, 75% of your anarthas, I don't know how to measure that, when they are gone, then you come to the level of nishta. And nishta means, like, what's the word in Germany for stehen? Sie stehen hier, sie bleiben hier, stehen, stay, yeah?
Stay, yeah.
Stehen, huh?
Yes.
So nishta, sta is Sanskrit, it's like you're situated somewhere. So nishta means you're fixed situated in devotional service.
Feststehen, auf Deutsch ist feststehen.
Okay, yes.
Man ist
Feststehen.
Gefestigt.
Kein Deutscher hier. Ne?
Gefestigt.
Gefestigt. Yeah. So you come to that level of nishta, of steady devotional service. And only, maybe that's the bad news, only when you are very steady in your devotional service is ruchi or taste, spiritual taste developing. So there's quite a journey. Shraddha, sadhusanga, bhajana, kriya, anartha, nivritti, nishta, and then when you're very steady, then you get some drops of real taste for the spiritual practices. And then you go to the level of Ashakti. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and there are other acharyas also, they explain the difference between Ruchi and Ashakti. It's very interesting. Like Ruchi means you have taste for the process, like hearing and chanting. Nama Ruchi, you have taste for the holy name. Ashakti means you have attraction for the object of your worship, which is Krishna. You see the difference? So at the Ruchi state, you have taste for the process, for hearing, chanting, worshipping, etc. But the real attraction for Krishna as a person, the real relationship has not yet fructified. But in the Ashakti stage, you are actually getting the jewels out of the direct relation with Krishna. Although, in one sense, there is no difference between the process, there is Abhinatvan Namanamino, there is no difference between the name and Krishna. But you can have taste for the chanting, and still your relationship with Krishna, your attraction for the person Krishna is not really manifested as yet. So that is Ashakti. And because of your close relationship with Krishna, you get closer and closer because of this attraction that you have for Krishna. Then sometimes you get this bhava, these ecstasies. You get these moments of very strong ecstasy, ecstatic emotions. You start to shake and your hair stands on end. Do you have an experience that in your life that when you heard a very beautiful piece of music, that the hairs on your arms, or you start to shiver a bit, or did you have that experience?
Yes.
And sometimes music can have that effect that you have, that it touches your heart and you feel like physical changes in your body. So when that's in relationship to Krishna, and it's beyond the Ruchi, Ashakti, etc. stage, when you're actually on that high level, because of your closeness with Krishna, you sometimes experience these moments of bhava. And it says that these moments of bhava are like pearls. They are quite rare, quite precious. Like for example, the pearls that are at the bottom of the ocean. You have to go very deep into the ocean before you find these pearls. Like the Japanese pearl divers, they can hold their breath for a long time and they dive deep into the ocean and they go to the bottom of the ocean and they find precious pearls. But it requires a lot of endeavor and practice. They go very deep. So if we go very deep, we might find some pearls in Krishna consciousness. But it's mentioned that if you string those pearls on a thread and you have like a necklace of pearls, and one pearl touches the other pearl, that's prema. It's like a continuous flow of ecstatic moments without stopping. It's like, and that's called prema. So we are quite far away, most of us, from that. But it is the fifth goal of human life. It's called Panchama Purushartha. It's the fifth goal of human life. You have Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. These are the four arthas, the four Purusharthas. But Panchama Purushartha, the most secret one, is the fifth one. That is Prema Pumarto Maha. It's the development of love of Godhead. That is the highest. So from Shraddha, initial faith, all the way up to Prema, that is the process delineated by Srila Goswami. So that is the topic of the second session. And then the third session, we can chant together. Xantir avyarta kalatvam viraktir manasunyata ashavandasam kanta namagane sadaruchi ashakti stat guna gyane niti stat vashati stare ijadayo nubhavashun yata bhumanapure jane. So this is the verse from the 22nd chapter of the Madhya Lila of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Xantir. Xantir means forgiveness. Actually, what is nice about this is these are 9 symptoms of devotees who have reached quite a high stage of spiritual life. So why do we discuss this? Because it's, for most of us, it's beyond our reach. At the same time, it is wonderful to meditate on those qualities and to do a little bit of introspection if we are reaching that level of devotion. You can do some introspection and see if you have some signs of these qualities of advanced devotion. So the first one is Xanti. Xanti means forgiving. It's quite amazing that this is the first symptom of an advanced devotee. Do you think that we need forgiveness? The quality of forgiveness, is that important in the community?
Yes.
So Xantir or Titikshava are sometimes used in a mixed way. Titikshava means tolerance, and Xanti means forgiveness. So first you tolerate, but a higher level of tolerance is actually to actually forgive the person who is causing you some harm. Do you have experience of other persons, even other devotees, who are sometimes causing you some harm?
Yes.
They are causes of disturbance sometimes. Yes, we have that sometimes. So it's very important quality in a movement like the Krishna consciousness movement, to develop first of all tolerance and gradually also develop the quality of forgiveness. Then avyarta kalatvam means you're not wasting any time. You use all the time in Krishna service. No more wasting time. It's pretty amazing if you analyze your day, how much time actually gets wasted. Sometimes we think we are very busy, but if you analyze it from morning till evening, there is still some scope for becoming more efficient with our time. Then virakti. Virakti means detachment. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojataha. Yana Yatyashu Vairagyam. Jnanam Chayat Avaitikam. So one who is engaging in devotional service, Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojataha. Somebody who is engaged in devotional service, he will automatically develop detachment and also transcendental knowledge. It's the automatic result of engaging in devotional service is that you become knowledgeable and you become detached. Right? Then mana sunyata.
Detachment.
Detachment means
I need to German.
renunciation.
Losgelöst. Losgelöst. Losgelöst.
Am I going too fast?
A little bit, but
Little
it's
bit.
okay.
Because there is a lot of content, I have to go a little bit fast. So detachment. And then mana sunyata. Anyone knows what means mana?
Mahana is respect, desire for the respect.
Yes, it means like, you can say it's pride.
Right.
So, and sunyata,
Is
zero.
zero.
Yeah. So no more false ego, actually, that's what it means. Ashabanga means hope against hope. Like Haridas Thakur, he felt himself very, very fallen. There's so many beautiful verses about Haridas Thakur, how fallen he felt himself. There's a reason for that, but it's a very long story. But he felt very, very low and downtrodden, etc. And still, he had great, great hope that he would receive the mercy of the Lord. So I think we have a very good reason to feel very fallen. Haridas Thakur, he was chanting 300,000 names of Krishna daily. So there was no trace of impurity in him, and he felt very low. So in our case, I think when we compare ourselves to Haridas Thakur, there is all the reason to feel ourselves quite small and quite contaminated. But still, this Asha Bandha is a very important quality, is that still Jayatam Surato Pangor Mamamanda Mategati Matsavashtapadam Bojo Sri Radha Madana Mohanu. Such a beautiful prayer where it says that, I'm blind, I'm lame, what can I do? But still, the lotus feet of Radha Madana Mohan are everything for me. So that can be both there. You can see your own fallen condition and feel a little bit bad about it, and at the same time you can say, but still my hope is there. Who can be more merciful than Vijay, Gauranga, and Dayal Nitai, the merciful Nitai. So I think that's why my name is Ekachakra Gauradesh. Only years after I received that name, I realized why my spiritual master gave me that name, because it's the place where Lord Nityananda Prabhu appeared, and it's described in the Chaitanya Bhagavat that Navadvip is next to the Ganges, and all the pious people, they will take birth, and to show the Ganges, and they're all very pious and very spiritual. But Ekachakra Gram is in the area of Gauradesh, which is an amazing connection between my name and Gauradesh. Krishna's playing tricks, I think. But it's mentioned there that Gauradesh means the area where the Ganges doesn't flow. And the area where the Ganges doesn't flow, all the sinful people will live there. They are much more sinful than those who live close to the Ganges. And therefore Lord Nityananda Prabhu took birth in Ekachakra Gram at the place where the Ganges doesn't flow, so that he could liberate the most fallen. So for me it's a very nice meditation that I'm Ekachakra Gram Das, and that's the place where many sinful persons were living, and Nityananda Prabhu came to rescue them. So that is hope. Therefore, Asha Bandha, I can relate to that. Lord Nityananda one day will show all the mercy. And then Samutkanta means eagerness. You become very eager for spiritual life. How many of you feel this eagerness to grow spiritually? To be honest, do you feel? Are you eager?
I mean, I'm trying. I guess if I wasn't, if I wasn't eager, I don't think I would be here.
Right.
Try.
Yes.
I guess there's something there.
You have periods in your devotional life that the eagerness is not so much there. You're just hanging there, right? You go on, you do your service, and then the devotee asks you, "How are you doing?" "Yeah, it's okay." "Yeah, it's okay." "What? It's okay?" You have so many tools to grow spiritually. You have all the 5 most potent spiritual practices that are given to us by Srila Prabhupada, and when they ask you how are you doing, you say, "Okay." So sometimes that feeling is there, yeah, it's okay, but there's not much taste, and things are a little bit rough and tough, and we don't feel so much progress. But Samutkanta means we continue to be very eager in spiritual life. And then Nama, Kane, Sadaruchi, to have continuous taste in chanting the holy names of the Lord, constantly, always eager to chant the holy names of the Lord. Then Ashaktistat Gunakyane. Ashaktis means you are attached to Krishna's qualities, pastimes, so you're always eager to hear about Krishna's name, form, pastimes and qualities. And then the last one is Pritistat Vasatishtale. Pritistat Vasatishtale. you're very eager to live in a holy place. So this Gauradesh is like an ambassador, the ambassador of Goloka Vrindavan, although it's in the middle of Köln. But still, we can feel that we are in a holy place because Vijay Gauranga Dayamita are here, all the devotees are here, we discuss spiritual topics. So the attachment to live in a holy place is also one of the symptoms of a person who has developed Bhava Unkare Jane. Jane means a person. Jata means the birth of Bhava Unkare. Means somebody who almost reached the level of ecstatic love for Krishna.
Can you repeat this again?
So this is the translation. When the seed of ecstatic emotion for Krishna fructifies, the following 9 symptoms manifest in one's behavior: forgiveness, concern that time should not be wasted, detachment, absence of false prestige, hope, eagerness, a taste for chanting the holy name of the Lord, attachment to descriptions of the transcendental qualities of the Lord, and affection for those places where the Lord resides. That is, a temple or a holy place like Vrindavan. These are all called anubhava, subordinate signs of ecstatic emotion. They are visible in a person whose heart the seed of love of God has begun to fructify. So that is the session tomorrow morning. We will go a little bit deeper into these ones. So 999, if we put these 3 together, then we cancel our stay in the material existence. Now, one important question I have for you. Should we strive for ending the samsara cycle? Yes.
I would say no.
Say no. Why?
Because Gauranga Mahaprabhu says in his Shikshamrita.
Nadanam, Nadanam, Nasum.
Yeah, I just want to be a devotional servant.
Yeah.
Germany, Germany.
Janmani, Janmani, Bhavada, just give me every life, give me devotion service. Yeah. Anyone else?
Well, I really fear if I existed, in this material world, so there is a chance that we can fall down, because in our childhood we always play a game. This is something it's called
Snake and stairs.
Snake and stairs. In 99, the snake bites and then you have to fall down on 0. So,
Heißt das Spiel Leitschlange?
so this is type of a game,
Right.
and if we just something very hard.
It's a snake and ladder. There is a ladder and then you go up.
And
then
then 99, there is a snake. If you go there and bites, and then
you come to 0. Again, run.
Become mouse again. Una musicobama.
So, still there is a feeling that we can be serve God. We can serve God here in this material world. Yeah. But there is a fear inside also. That if there is advancement, but there is a chance also that we can
fall.
risk also. Yeah.
Padam, Vipadam. Every step
That's
can
why.
be. Yeah. So you would say, yes, we strive
Yes.
for it. Okay. So we have no, we have yes. We have already 2 camps.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, I would say yes also.
Yes.
Because it's true that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Sikshastakam he say life after life I can serve you. But we are not in the level or in the stage of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
That's a
And
very good
also
point.
Srila Prabhupada say I can go to the hell because I can preach there, I will be happy to preach there. But we are also not in that level.
Right.
So yeah, we can say I will stay here, I want to serve, but actually we want also to enjoy. Our serving is not so pure.
Right.
So
Yes.
better to finish.
So we have already 2 against 1. Anyone else?
When we say that we want to, like Bhava Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that I want to become the worm in the stool and I want to remain here, I can go to the hellish planet. I think it's very risky for a conditioned soul. Maybe for the Nitya Mukta soul, for who is a liberated soul, for them it is okay, they can do this, but for a conditioned soul like me, there is a big risk that we remain there and we fall down.
Maharaj, what would you say?
Yeah, I was just thinking, when you're young, you want to stay. Like, there was a group of Sankirtan devotees which were powerful, and they told Paul, we don't want to become liberated, we want to distribute books life after life. But that I feel is more like the young enthusiasm, because you have so much energy.
Right.
When you get older, you start thinking really different.
Then you feel the suffering of the material body also more.
Because, anyway, I don't want to extend it unnecessarily.
Yes. So we listen to Prabhupada, what Prabhupada says. It makes sense, right? So what is Prabhupada saying? So this is the sample of pure devotee. The pure devotee does not want even liberation. Diyamana nagrinamti. If liberation is offered to a devotee, he does not want it. He will refuse to accept it. He is satisfied only in the service of the Lord. That is the standard of satisfaction. Or, in other words, to a devotee, liberation is not a very valuable thing. Just like our one devotee, Prabodhananda Saraswati, says, Kaivalyam narakayeta tridasya pur akasya pushpayate. Like that. So, devotee's position is very sublime. Devotee's position is the most exalted, transcendental position of a pure devotee who does not want anything except Krishna. So there is this beautiful verse from, I think it's Parvati, no, it's Shiva to Parvati, in the story of Chitraketu, when Chitraketu was flying around with his transcendental airplane, with his, and he came near Mount Kailash, or Mount Meru, and there the sages were sitting and talking about spiritual topics, all very renowned sages, and there was Lord Shiva, and on his lap there was Parvati, and Parvati was embracing Shiva, and when Chitraketu saw this, he started laughing, because he found, it's pretty funny if like we have this assembly and then you have one couple and they sit, they start embracing each other, so Chitraketu was thinking, this is pretty funny, so he smiled and laughed a little bit, a little giggling. And Shiva didn't mind, he was completely transcendental. Parvati saw it and she was offended. And she became very upset. And she cursed him. She said, "You become a demon!" And then she observed the body language of Chitraketu and nothing happened. His facial expression remained same. He didn't show any anger or fear, or it just completely relaxed. And then she asked her husband, how is possible? I'm Parvati, I'm Durga, I'm cursing him to become a demon. And he's not reacting, did he even hear? And then Lord Shiva said, Narayana parasave na kutasyana vidyati. Narayana Parayana, a follower of Lord Narayan, has no fear of anything. Swarga apavaga narakeshu apituya tadashina. For him, hell, heaven, liberation is all the same. Because he is pure devotee of the Lord. He's transcendental, my dear wife. Your curse will not really affect him so much. Even if he has to accept the body of a demon, he will be still fixed in devotional service. So that's pretty amazing. Right?
Yes.
That's pure devotee of the Lord. Also Kapila Muni says to Devahuti, to his mother, he speaks about pure devotional service, and Prabhupada quotes one line here. He speaks about the 5 kinds of liberation, not just Ekatvam, but also Salokya, living in the same planet of the Lord, Samipya, being a close associate of the Lord, Sashti, have the same opulence of the Lord, Sarupya, look like the Lord, and the Lord's Diyamanam. Diyamanam is mentioned here, Diyamanam, The Lord gives like a donation. Here, you have all the 5 kinds of liberation. Take it. I give you my blessing. And the Lord is very surprised to see his pure devotee saying, no, nagrinanti. Diyamanam, I give it to you. And the devotee says, nagrinanti, I don't accept. Vina mat sevanam janaha. Vina means without, sevanam janaha. Without increasing my devotional service, I will not accept the 5 kinds of liberation. Only if it increases my devotional service to you. And that is a pure devotee. A pure devotee likes the Prabhupada. If you want to send me to hell to distribute Krishna consciousness there, I'm fine. But it's a pure devotee. Now let's also hear something else that Prabhupada said. That's a lecture in Hawaii in 74. So Krishna is prepared to help you. Paramatma. Savasya chaham hridi sannivishto. Read Bhagavad Gita thoroughly and be sincere and make your life successful. Read and follow, and Krishna will help you. This life. Don't expect another life to prepare. It is guaranteed human life. Somebody asking. Even if it's guaranteed, why should you take the chance of another life? Finish the business this life. Take help from Krishna, take help from books, take help from your spiritual masters. Why another life? Another life. Suppose you get another human life. If it's guaranteed, you may fall down again. That was your point. You may fall down again. So my Guru Maharaj used to say, Bhakti Siddhanta, finish all business in this life. Namochayatya samupetam mrityum. Finish the business of birth, death, old age, and the disease in this life. You can do that. This is our main business. Not to make arrangement for eating, sleeping, mating, and defending under different garb, under different pretexts. So very strong. So I think it's very nice, the conclusion here. Yes, it depends on your level of consciousness if you are in the upper category or in the down category. And just to end this little exercise, I was just reading about the 6 characteristics of bhakti. What is it? Kleshakni, Subhada, Moksha, Lagutakrit. So actually this Moksha, Lagutakrit means disregarding liberation.
Yes.
But the acharyas explain that the first 2 characteristics of bhakti, meaning Kleshakni, getting rid of all misery, Subhada, invoking all auspiciousness, that's on the level of Sanana Bhakti. But the second 2, Moksha, Lagutakrit, and Sudurlabha, these 2 are on the level of Bhava Bhakti. And the highest 2, you're able to attract Krishna, and it's very rarely attained. No, you are able to attract Krishna. Well, that's on the level of Prema. So in other words, it depends on your level of devotional service. If you're on the level of bhava, then you disregard the desire for liberation. So that's quite high. So I think for most of us, it's safer to go for the bottom one. Finish your life in this lifetime. Okay? This verse we all know. Yes, Prabhu?
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for clarifying this point, because it was always a confusion, and I was always confused with this, because at one hand, Prabhupada says, go back to Godhead, and it was the punch line and always very focused line, back to Godhead. On the other hand, we say, no, Mam Janmana Janmanisware. So I was always confused, like, what is correct? But now you have a complete, comprehensive view, both the things.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for it.
It's nice to have that philosophical understanding that, yes, I should not desire anything except for the pleasure of the Lord. That is our foundational value in devotional service. You know, whatever I do, I want to please Krishna. So if it's pleasing to Krishna that I come back in another life to fulfill a certain role, I will do that. So that's nice to meditate on that. I would like to have that attitude. Because why do I want to go back to Godhead? No? That's a good question to ask yourself. Because I'm suffering. So is it about Krishna or is it about you? So, and that is the whole thing about the Purusharthas. I become religious so that I get artha. When I have artha, I can fulfill kama. When I become frustrated by kama, then I want moksha. So it's not about anything divine, it's about you. And therefore, dharma projita kaito matra. Therefore, Bhagavatam almost starts with kicking out all cheating religions. And this is the cheating religion where you put your I all the time in the center. But in conditioned states of spiritual life, I think it's very safe to try to become liberated. Mamu pecha punarjanma dukkhalayam sasvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gatam. We have to strive for it because we are living in dukkhalayam. It's alayam means a place. You have many words in Sanskrit with alayam. So this is dukkhalayam, it's a place of misery. But you also have yamalayam, it's the place of death. And you have Himalayam, not the Himalayas, it's where the snow is, the place of the snow. Hima means snow. You have Rasalayam, that's the Bhagavatam, Rasalayam. It's full of nectar. And you have Bodhalayam, what is it? Is that in Hindi?
Bhojanalayam.
Yes.
Bhojanalayam.
Yeah. So it's this place where you eat food.
And there is a Vidyalayam, where there is schooling.
Yeah, school, Vidyalayam. Yes. So Alayam. So, but we are living in a place that's called Dukkhalayam. So better to not return anymore and to attain the Paramamgata, which is the highest. So I will skip this one. I mean, we can read. This one is nice, but I will skip the question. My dear Nanda, we do not know why we are so attracted by your son Krishna. We want to forget him, but this is impossible. Why are we so naturally affectionate toward him? This is from wonderful Krishna in Krishna book. And one exercise, part of the seminar, but we will skip due to time pressure, is a nice question to think about yourself. Why are you all so obsessed with Krishna? When I started my Krishna consciousness, my father asked it at one point. Whenever I would call him, I spoke about Krishna. And he asked me this question, why are you so obsessed with Krishna? And I felt it like a great blessing, Wow, this is the impression that they have, I do something right, to be obsessed with Krishna. But actually, there are many answers. When we did this exercise in Gauradesh, Gopinath, the ashram leader, Bhakta Gopinath, Prabhu, he came up with the wonderful answer that, Prabhu, if you can give me anything better than Krishna, I will follow that. If you show me anything, if better than Prasadam, better than Kirtan, better than the deities, better than the Holy Dham, better than the books of Prabhupada, if you have it, you give it to me and I will follow that. But if you cannot show me anything better, I will go for Krishna. And I think that was a very wonderful thing to say. But the real reason why we follow Krishna, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadyasya Yataha Anvayati Taratas Jartesha Vigyasvara Tene Brahmarilaya Adikavaye Muyanti Yatsuraya Tejo Varimridam Yata Vinimayo Yatra Trisago Mrisa Damnasvena Sada Nirashta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi. This is a foundational verse of the Bhagavatam. This is the reason why we follow Krishna. First canto, first verse.
There was a time when we chanted the whole mantra before Bhagavatam.
Oh wow.
Devotees had just come back from the tour of their province, 71, 72. And they brought this also. They asked us to always chant the whole mantra.
But it's such a beautiful mantra to chant.
So it was part of the Mangalacharan that time, when we do Mangalacharan?
Sorry?
It was part of Mangalacharan, this mantra?
No, it's just when you chant, now we chant Om Namo Bhagavate
Yeah, we chanted the
Vasudevaya.
whole mantra.
But before Bhagavatam class, Maharaj says that,
The Mangala
I
chant.
chanted everything. Yeah. O my Lord Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, all pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respects of obeisance unto you. I meditate, Satyam Param Dhimani. I meditate upon Lord Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge into the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes, temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature, appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. So if you tell this to your father, who asks you, why are you so upset? My father, because of this. Any objections to that? I like always in this verse the section that he enlightens Brahma with Vedic knowledge, and at the same time he illusions them. So he gives the knowledge, but he can also put them in illusion. So in other words, everyone is fully dependent on Krishna. He can do whatever he wants with them, what to speak of us. And I recall what you were saying, that why should we go strive for liberation and go back to Godhead? Because any moment we can be enlightened, but any moment we can also be put into the deepest darkness of ignorance. It can go very fast. And this is the last verse of the introduction. I find this a very beautiful verse. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind, Krishna says, engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. So why is this so important? Sambandha is very important. You have to really understand who Krishna is, who we are. And if you understand how amazingly big Krishna is, and how amazingly insignificant, small we are, then automatically when you realize that, everything comes into the right perspective, and then you start automatically worshipping Krishna by following the process of devotional service. So it's very, very important. So I think it's time for a little break. We are already behind schedule. I don't know how to get through all the 3 sessions, but
We will continue, yes.
we try. So, you want a little break or shall we continue? 5-minute break? 5 minute break? Okay. Good. We take a little break till 5:10 and then we continue.
Then will we start with the bhajan?
We will start in 5 minutes with the bhajan. Okay?
Can you please put the bhajan here on the screen then after? Okay.
Yes?
Yes, thank you.
So allow me for a little toilet break. I come back in 5.
Do you want me to Yeah, thank you.
Just think about that. We will run out of time anyhow, so I will try to make it.
I will be staying until you want, so don't worry, we will stay here.
No,
When you
no, but I can make it shorter. But it's nice.
You have to give a decision if we have a proper RC or we have a hidden RC. Then we have to go.
Okay.
We are flexible for it. Normally it is 6 o'clock in 1 hour. We have like in 50 minutes. 50 minutes. So is it tight for you? Like because then it's very tight.
But it's also nice to. I mean, the idea is we get more time together. No?
Yeah.
It's not the idea to finish everything. So I
We know
just.
RC.
You can ask the audience. So I think it's nice to.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe I will. Prabhu, in this condition, you are visible and slides are visible. Both are visible in this case. So both are there. Yeah. Maybe for some time we have. Moment, just a minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Just
8 minutes. Want to read the translation? Sorry.
Reinstalled?
Yeah, but she can read the translation.
Okay.
O mind, just worship the lotus feet of the son of Nanda, which make one fearless. Having obtained this rare human birth, crossed over the ocean of worldly existence through the association of saintly persons. Both in the day and at night I remain sleepless, suffering the pains of the heat and cold, the wind and the rain. For a fraction of flickering happiness I have uselessly served wicked and miserly men. What occurrence of real happiness is there in all of one's wealth, youthfulness, sons, and family members? This life is tottering like a drop of water on a lotus petal. Therefore you should always serve and worship the divine feet of Lord Hari. It is the desire of great longing of Govinda Das to engage himself in the 9 processes of bhakti, namely hearing the glories of Lord Hari and chanting those glories, constantly remembering him and offering prayers to him, serving the Lord's lotus feet, serving the Supreme Lord as a servant, worshipping him with flowers and incense and so forth, serving him as a friend, and completely offering the Lord one's very self.
Das ki
Jai.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Lokanath Prabhu. Nice to see you.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. I've completely miscalculated the time that I would need for this seminar because we will never be able to go through everything. But we have a good time, no?
Yes.
So if we continue speaking and hearing and chanting and kirtan, then our time is nicely spent, regardless if we can complete the whole seminar or not. That's secondary, I would say. So the introduction was about the 999 seminar, 9 process of devotional service, 9 steps in the process of devotional service, and the 9 qualities of devotees that have reached a pretty high level of Krishna consciousness. So that was the introduction. We will now focus on the 9 processes of devotional service, where Prabhupada says that the 9 different processes enunciated by Prahlad Maharaj, who learned them from Narada Muni, may not all be required for the execution of devotional service. If a devotee performs only one of these 9 without deviation, he can attain the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When a devotee executes any one of the 9 processes, Navalakshana, this is sufficient. The other 8 processes are included. So in the introduction we said that it's like a sequence from Shravana to Kirtana to Smarana, and then while remembering you worship the lotus feet of the Lord, then you can do Archana, you can go on the altar, then you will start offering prayers, right? Then you become a real Dasha, your whole life becomes the servant of Krishna, then you become more intimate, you become Sakya, and then when you feel that intimacy, you just want to surrender everything, Atmani Vedana. But here Prabhupada says, any one of the 9 is sufficient, and all the other 8 are included, so that's very nice. So as I'm a little bit shy, as you can see, I thought I should get a few guest speakers, so I brought 9 guest speakers with me, and at the end of this presentation you can choose which one of the 9 you feel like most connected with. Yes, you got the point? So I have a few guest speakers. I have Parikshit Das, I have Sukadev Prabhu, I brought also Prahlad Das with me, Lakshmi Devi Dasi is also in the room somewhere, Prithu Das, Akrura Prabhu, we have Bhakta Hanuman, we have Arjuna Prabhu, and we have Bali Maharaj Swami. They will all give a presentation on these 9 processes of devotional service. And we're thinking, what? What are you talking about? We will see. Okay, so let's first hear from Parikshit Das, because he will promote the process of Shravanam, of hearing. Now, the question, why should we hear? This is like a brainstorm session. Why? Very, very quickly, what comes in your mind? Why hearing? Look up.
Association, really. You get who you're hearing from and what you're hearing about. You get the association of that.
Okay.
You can absorb that.
So you get the realization of the other person when you hear. Okay, that's nice.
Because normally transcendental knowledge is given through speaking.
To hearing.
Yeah.
Transcendental knowledge comes from hearing. Yes? Right? Yes?
It said when you're asleep, the only way to wake somebody up is through sound.
Oh, very nice.
So
Yeah.
sound vibration.
When you're asleep, the sound will wake you up. It's the only way to wake you up. Yes? Anything else? Why do we hear? Why hearing?
When we are having that transcendental message or wisdom, then it also uplifts us to the transcendental platform.
So it lifts us up to the transcendental platform. Anything else? What does the hearing do with us?
It just wakes us up.
It wakes us up. Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. Yes, it wakes us up. Okay. Guys, Sisi Vijay Goranga Doimitai Das Daimitai Ki Jai. So because we don't have that much time, we have to go through all the 9 processes in half an hour. It will not be possible. So one is it's pleasing to Krishna. Naham tishtami vaikunte yoginam hridaya shubham. Krishna says in the Puranas that, I'm not in the heart of the yogi. I'm not in Vaikuntha. I'm there where my devotees glorify me. That's where Krishna comes. It sharpens our buddhi. Evam buddhe param buddhva. It's in the end of the 3rd chapter of the Gita. That it is by this transcendental buddhi, this sharp buddhi that can overcome lust. So we can hear about Krishna to overcome lust. It destroys our doubts and allows us to understand Krishna in full. Bhagavad Gita 7.1. Prabhupada's one of the most quoted verses of Prabhupada, Maya Shakta Manaparta, Yogam Yunjan Varastraya. Asamsayam, no more doubts. Samagram, fully, you can understand. Isn't it amazing? We hear about Krishna and we can understand him fully. Krishna says that. Just hear how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. It triggers enthusiasm. That's what the verse was where we ended the introduction session. That if a person is fully convinced of my opulences, if a devotee is fully convinced of my opulences, he will engage in devotion service. So it's also very important. It purifies our heart from anarthas. Srinvatam Swakata Krishna. Very important. It relieves us from illusion and restores our memory. Arjuna says at the end of the Gita, Nashto Moha, Smriti Ilana. There is no more illusion. No more illusion. And my memory is now restored, just because I was hearing Bhagavad Gita from you. It relieves us from suffering. You want to be relieved from suffering? Nobody's enthusiastic, no? You want to get rid of your suffering? Okay. So there are many verses in the scriptures where it says that when you hear, like Janma Guyam Bhagavato Yaitat Parayato Naraha, Sayam Prata Grinam Bhaktya Dukkha Gramat Vimuchyate. It's not only the dukkha that gets removed, but dukkha gramat. Even the cause of your suffering will be removed if morning and evening, in a careful and respectful way, you hear about Krishna's pastimes. So it removes our suffering. It feeds our chanting and it removes its dryness. This is from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Bhajana Rahasya. Gives joy to the heart and ears and gives liberation. Satam prasangam mamaveya samvido. Such an important verse from Kapila Muni. It gives faith in and attraction for Krishna. Same verse. Makes Krishna manifest from the heart. Ishvaro satcharich avaruchate. Krishna takes birth in the heart of a person who carefully hears about him. It awakens our dormant prema. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Satya Kabunoi Sravanadi Sudachite Koriyedoi. Simply by hearing, the dormant Krishna Prema in our hearts will come up. And this one is a nice one. It makes Krishna big and small. That's the tricky one. First of all, when we hear, then Krishna becomes bigger and bigger. We hear about his opulences and he's like the universal form and he's the source of all material and spiritual worlds. And for me, it was first God was not existing, and when I heard from Prabhupada's books, suddenly God became like, wow. But then if you engage in devotional service and you hear more and more and more, then Krishna becomes sweeter and sweeter. So then he becomes smaller again, and then you can have a relationship with him. You cannot really have an intimate relationship with him when he's like, wow. So if you become advanced in Krishna consciousness, then Krishna shrinks to your levels that you can have an equal relationship, or even become more than Krishna. You can become a father and mother of Krishna, and Krishna is running away in fear from the stick in the hand of Mother Yasoda. So it makes Krishna big and it makes Krishna small. So I think quite some reasons why we should hear, no? There's even more, but I think this is enough. In the rainy season, some of the roads are not frequently used and they become covered with long grasses. These roads are exactly like a Brahmana who is not accustomed to studying and practicing the reformatory methods of the Vedic injunctions. He becomes covered with the long grasses of Maya. In that condition, forgetful of his constitutional nature, he forgets his position of eternal servitorship to the Supreme Lord. By being deviated by the seasonal overgrowth of long grasses created by Maya, a person identifies himself with the Mayic production and succumbs to illusion, forgetting his spiritual life. This is from the descriptions of autumn in Prabhupada's Krishna book. So, if we don't read, Maya starts to, overcome us. I'm sorry. No, that we will not be able to hear. I'm sorry, it's not loud enough. So, obviously, Prabhupada said if you read these 4 books, Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar of Devotion, it's sufficient to go back home, back to Godhead. Now there are different things we could discuss, but we don't have enough time for it. How should we hear? By hearing lectures, physical lectures, digital, self-study, read Srila Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada says very scrutinizingly we should study his books. And scrutinizingly means, every word you have to meditate on. It's such an important thing. We should read repeatedly and carefully. This is the verse that I quoted from this is actually the verse after the Paribhash sloka of the Bhagavatam, which is Ete Cham Sakala Pumsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So the verse after is this one. And it's a beautiful verse where it says that if you carefully recite Krishna's pastimes and appearances, his Janma Guyam, his transcendental appearances in the morning and in the evening, then all the suffering will be removed from your life because you'll get absorbed in Krishna. So we have to hear also attentively. At the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is asking after 680 verses, or more, Krishna is asking Arjuna, did you hear with an attentive mind? The Sanskrit word that is used is tvaya eka agrena. It's like one-pointed attention. How many of you are able to listen with one-pointed attention? How many times does the mind go away in a lecture? I don't want to know. The mind is always going. Actually, Prabhupada said in one purport in the Bhagavatam that if you want to hear attentively, you have to have a pure mind. And if you want to have a pure mind, you have to be pure in your actions. And if you want to be pure in your actions, you have to be pure in your eating, sleeping, mating, and defending habits. So it doesn't mean you come to a lecture and immediately you're fully focused. It's a lifestyle. A pure lifestyle that will allow you to hear attentively. With eagerness. So many years, millions of years. This is a beautiful prayer by Prithu Maharaj. My dear Lord, I therefore do not wish to have the benediction of merging into your existence. A benediction in which there is no existence of the nectarian beverage of your lotus feet. I want a benediction of at least 1,000,000 years. For thus I may be able to hear about the glories of your lotus feet from the mouths of pure devotees. So eagerness is very important. So the conclusion, Prabhupada says one should therefore begin yoga practice as directed in the last verse of the 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and the most important. So therefore you see a 1. I'm speaking as Parikshit Das. I'm promoting Shravanam. So this is very clearly the number one process in devotional service. You agree?
Yes.
Everybody agrees? So it's already chosen. Shravanam is the best? Yes? Shravanam is the best? Okay, let's see. Then we go to Kirtanam. What is the meaning of Kirtan?
Loudly chanting.
Chanting,
Loudly chanting,
glorifying,
in congregation, glorifying,
Speaking. Harikatha.
speaking Harikatha. Maharaj, any suggestions?
Reciprocate also.
Glorifying? Eulogizing, it's a beautiful English word. It means praise highly in speech or writing. Announcing, proclaiming, making famous. Kirti means fame. So kirtan means you make him famous by chanting and doing Harinam. We make Krishna famous in the world. So that's another word. Congregational singing, loud individual chanting, and oral descriptions of the glories of Sri Krishna's name, forms, qualities, associates, and pastimes. So what we hear is what we chant. You agree?
yes,
If you hear rubbish, when you open your mouth, what will come out? Rubbish. Yeah. So the quality of hearing depends, determines actually the quality of your speaking. I think Prabhupada said something like, a gentleman is, what is it?
A fool is recognized as soon as he opens his mouth.
As soon as he opens his mouth, we can recognize that he was supposed to be a gentleman, but when he opens,
He dressed very nicely in a suit.
yes, very nice. When he opens his mouth, we realize that he's a stupid guy. So it's Srotavya Dini Rajendra, Drinam Shanti Sahasrasandra. So people have thousands of topics to discuss. So strong hearing leads to strong speaking and strong chanting. This is an important instruction. Raghunath Das Goswami, although he was under the care of whom? Raghunath Das Goswami was under the care of Swarup Damodar Goswami, but he had a very strong longing to get a personal instruction from Lord Chaitanya. So this was the instruction that he received from Lord Chaitanya. Gramya Gata. Gramya, gram, ekachakra gram, right? Gram. Gramya means village. So Gramya Gata means village talk. So Gramya Gata na sunibe. Don't speak, don't listen to village talk. It's gossip.
it's like reading newspaper or.
Yes. Like for example here, you see here, you have two columns. You have conditioning and you have liberating. So the conditioning here is very, we are all absorbed in Putin and Zelensky, right?
Yes.
Every day it's like Zelensky kata, Putin kata, Trump kata,
Yes.
right? We absorb our hearing potency with this. So this is conditioning. But if we hear about the war in the Mahabharata, where Krishna and Arjuna are the heroes, then it's liberating. So it's the same thing, war and war.
Yes.
But one is conditioning, the other is liberating. If we hear about this one was murdered brutally, it's conditioning. But here, Krishna is killing so many demons, it's liberating.
Yes.
Same thing, Krishna murders.
Yes.
Why is it liberating? Here, the jewelry store robbery. We hear about the Louvre.
Yeah.
All the jewels of the Louvre are stolen. Every day you hear updates. But when you hear about Krishna stealing, then it becomes liberating. Or when you hear about, nightclubs and so many parties and this and that happened, it's conditioning. But when we hear about Krishna dancing with so many girls, suddenly it becomes liberating. So it's very important that what we hear is what we speak. If we hear the right column, we will speak about that,
Yes.
right? And this is a very famous verse. We can chant together. Matchita, matkata, prana, bodhayantas parasparam, katayantas jamaticham, tushanti. This is actually the quality of a devotee. What is the quality of a devotee? Is that he's very happy and satisfied, to be in a sangha like this, and to hear and to chant about Krishna's name, fame, pastimes, and qualities. This is the test for yourself. Am I satisfied with this? Is this peaceful and nice and enlivening? Then you're in a good mindset. 10.9. So I go a little bit quickly. Chanting japa is kirtan. It's important that we improve our quality. This is something that Satchidananda Maharaj initiated, and by his mercy we completed the 7 P's of practice of japa. Period of the day is important, the place is important, the posture is important, pronunciation is important, penetration of the sound into our ears and hearts, then pointed attention, and then prayerful. If you can follow these 7, then your japa will be very nice. So it can be a whole seminar just about improving the way you are chanting. And then the very conclusion of the Bhagavatam. This is the last verse of the Bhagavatam. It says, Nama Sankirtanam Yashya Sarva Papam Pranashanam. It says that I offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Hari, the congregational chanting of whose holy name destroys all sinful reactions. Right? It's the conclusion of the whole Bhagavatam. So chanting is extremely important. So the conclusion, we all know this verse. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam, Karonasdeva, Nasdeva, Nasdeva, Gatiranyataha. So there is no other way, no other way, no other way in Kali Yuga than to chant Krishna's holy name. Or at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, for one who explains this supreme secret to others, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and you go back home, back to Godhead. How fortunate are the speakers. If somebody asks you to give a class to the devotees, don't be too shy, because Krishna guarantees you that if you do it, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and you go back home, back to Godhead. No servant is more dear than that person. So I think, and my name is Sukadev Das, I'm promoting Kirtan. So how many of you think that Kirtan is the best process? No, you're cheating. So Kirtan is the best process. It's the only way, the only way, the only way. Right? But now Prahlad Maharaj is coming. And he's promoting Smaran. How many of you know this verse? Kamendriyani samyam yaste manasasma. Indriyatam vimudatma mitya achara uchate. Let's say that you are able, by the process of hearing and chanting, that you are able to control your mind and your senses. No, your senses. Let's say you are able to control your senses. You don't overeat, you don't indulge in sensual activities. You're a very self-controlled person. But in this verse, Krishna says, but if your mind is still focusing on the objects of the senses, even if you don't act on it, then you are mithya achara suchate. You are a pretender. So the mind is very, very important. Therefore Krishna says that in 2 places in the Gita, man manava, please fix your mind upon me. Engage all your intelligence in me. So the mind is so important. We have to somehow or other remember Krishna. This is one of my favorite verses from the Bhagavatam, which says it doesn't actually matter if you're engaged in Sankhya Yoga or in real yoga or following all the rules and regulations of your Dharma. The proof is that at the end of your life you remember Krishna. Ante Narayana Smriti. Doesn't matter if it's by Sankhya Yoga or by Hatha Yoga or by Ashtanga Yoga or by perfectly following Varnashram Dharma. The result should be Ante Narayana Smriti. Remember Krishna. Right? 8th chapter of the Gita starts with 8 or 9 questions by Arjuna. What is Brahman? What is Atma? What is the self? What is karma? What is this cosmic manifestation? What are the demigods? Who's the Lord of the Yagyas, and how does he live in everyone's heart, and how can I remember him? 8 questions that Arjuna asked to Krishna. In 2 verses, Krishna answers the first 7. It's really fast. Aksharam Brahma Paramam Svabhavo Jatmanuchate. Yeah. Brahman is this, Atma is this, Karma is this. Adiyatma is this, Adibhuta is this, Adideva is this. Very quick, like almost like boring questions, I give an answer. But the last question is, how can I at the time of death remember the Lord in the heart? 24 verses, all the rest of the chapter Krishna answers that question. So how important is to remember Krishna at the moment of death? So important. This one. Smartavyo satatam Vishnu, vi smartavyo nayatu chit. Sarva vidi niseda shur, eta yori vakinkara. You know, in the Vedas, you have literally thousands of vidis and thousands of nishedas. Meaning, thousands of things that you should do and thousands of things that you should not do. It's full of it. But they are all the slaves of one vidi and one nisheda. Smartavyo satatam Vishnu, always remember Vishnu. Vi smartavyo nayatu chit, and never forget him. These are the one vidi and the one nisheda. All the other do's and don'ts are servants of this one. I go over a little bit quickly, and then there's a conclusion. You know this verse, Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram yapriyati samabhavam yati nashtrata samsaya. Whoever thinks of me alone, even at the time of death, attains to my state on abandoning the body. There is no doubt about this. So, would you say that Smaranam is the best process? Yes, the best process. So, Sravanam is the best, Kirtanam is the best, Smaranam is the best. Very important, all these processes are important. This is the first conclusion of Sukadeva Goswami in the Bhagavatam. He says, Tashmat Bharata Sarva Atma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari Srotavya Kirtitavyasya Smartavya Tistachavayam. With your whole heart, Sarva Atma means with your whole heart, you should engage in hearing, in chanting, in remembering, and in worshiping. So all are very, very important process of devotional service. So we come to Parasevanam. As we mentioned, you can only engage in devotional service when you remember Krishna. Otherwise, what would you say that when you engage in service, let's say that you're cleaning the temple room, and if your mind is outside there, thinking about money, about so many problems that we have, can we technically say that we engage in devotional service?
No.
Maybe half.
Half? Externally we do it, but internally we contemplate on other things. What is Krishna saying in the verse that I just quoted?
Mana, yes, in the mind also.
Yes, but in the other verse we said,
do your work but always remember me.
yes, but in the verse that we showed before, is even if you externally control your senses, but if your mind is contemplating the objects of the senses, you're a cheater, or you're a false guru, false acharya.
Yes.
So Krishna wants our mind to be focused, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu, at all times, ma manusmarayuchacha, and while engaging in your duties, you should try to remember. So this is a practice. We cannot externally do seva and internally think about all the problems that we have in our life. We have to focus on Krishna somehow or other.
In this regard, one senior Vaishnava says that Prabhupada did not name International Society for Krishna Activity. He said Krishna Consciousness. So it has to be with consciousness, everything, and not with just the activity.
Yes.
So when we are doing externally, it becomes activity, then consciousness.
Yeah, and I want to skip it, but I think it's too beautiful to skip it. Where was it? This is the Abhideya Pranam mantra. You know it, huh? Divyat Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada. This is such a beautiful meditation. This is actually the essence of devotional service. Usually when we think about devotional service, we think about an activity, you know. Oh, Prabhu, I have so much service. Actually, in one lecture of His Holiness Lokanath Maharaj, in one class, he said, it's very, very difficult to be so busy in Krishna's service, right? There's so many services here in Gauradesh, right? Yes? Yes, and they go, yes, Maharaj. Oh, yeah. Running around, you know, doing this service, that service is very, very difficult, no? Yes, Maharaj, very difficult. And he went on. He said, but it's much more difficult to sit down for Krishna. And just hear, I remember. To run around and do so many things is one thing, but to sit down for a few hours to meditate on Krishna. So this verse actually says that you have to contemplate on Vrindavan, Divya Vrindaranya, and think about the forest of Vrindavan. And in that forest there is a Kalpadrumada, there is a desire tree, there's a banyan tree, the desire tree, Kalpadrumada, and underneath that tree there is Srimad Ratnagara Simhasana Sto. There is a beautiful temple, and in the temple there is a beautiful throne decorated with jewels. Srimad Radha Sila Govinda Devo. On that throne there is Radha and Govinda sitting on that throne, jewel throne, in the temple under the banyan tree, which is a desire tree, in the forest of Vrindavan. Prishtali bi Sevyamano Smarami. Smarami means to remember. Sevyamanos, Prishtalibi Sevyamano. And that couple, Radha and Govinda, are surrounded by very close associates who are worshipping Radha and Krishna. That is the Abhideya Pranam mantra. So when you talk about devotional service, this is actually the meditation. Being in Vrindavan, seeing that beautiful temple, seeing the throne, seeing Radha and Krishna, surrounded by very confidential devotees who are serving Radha and Krishna. So when you think about devotional service, you usually think about other things than contemplating on this. But this is actually beautiful. In a temple of jewels, in Vrindavan, underneath the desire tree, Sri Radha Govinda, served by their most confidential associates, sit upon a effulgent throne. I offer my humble obeisance to them, or smarami means I'm meditating on them. So in that mood, we have to engage in Padasevanam. I will skip this. So Padasevanam means many things. It means visiting a holy place, bathing in the holy rivers, circumambulating the temple, worshipping those that are close to the Lord, Tadiya Upashanam. This is all under the category of Padasevanam. But also becoming a servant of the spiritual master. Pada means the feet of the spiritual master. Sevanam means to worship the feet of the spiritual master or to follow his instructions. It's very important to engage in devotional service. Prabhupada says, we cannot discover the mysteries of the Lord by our mundane endeavors. They are only revealed by His grace to the proper devotees. These mysteries are gradually disclosed to the various grades of devotees in proportion to the gradual development of their service attitude. So this is a very important one. We cannot understand Krishna by our own endeavor. But through the proportion that we develop our service attitude, Krishna reveals Himself into us. So therefore, would you say that Padasevanam is the most important of all processes of devotional service? Maybe without service, would you be able to make any progress in spiritual life? Yeah. So what should we do now? It's almost 6. We have covered 4. From Krishna Prabhu, what do we do?
We have a Gaurarti now. So yes, we can maybe a faster Gaurarti, maybe not 2 minutes long, maybe a small version.
Okay.
Yeah.
We sing a little bit and we continue?
Yes, after singing. So, Prabhu, you can sing.
Okay. Namaste Saraswati And Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivratyacharya Stotra Satasri Siddhanta Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. His co-founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivratyacharya Ashtotra Satasri Srimat Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasudhi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunigiri Govardhana Ki Jai. Sri Vrindavan Dharma Ki Jai. Sri Navadvip Mayapur Dharma Ki Jai. Sri Jagannath Puri Dharma Ki Jai. Sri Gauradesh Dharma Ki Jai. Gangamai Jamuna Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai, Sri Harinam Sankirtan Yakya Ki Jai, Sri Prabhupada Sense Center Book Distribution Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Jai Gold Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada.
So we continue now the next part after this break, Aarti break. सेट कर लीजिए सेट कर
Just received the good news that we include the Sunday feast lecture as one of the sessions, so we have a little bit more time.
I just come maybe to talk with Maharaj and I come back.
Yes. So that means we can stop earlier today, and we can also stop hurrying, rushing. So we're discussing Padasevanam. Technically speaking, it means we become a very loyal servant of our spiritual master. Once there was one of the descendants of Lord Nityananda. His name was Nanda Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. He was a very, very advanced soul. He was actually in the line of Lord Nityananda. And Nanda Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he had two problems. One was that in the line of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, everyone married. The Grihastas, they would do yagyas and give diksha initiation, and that would also be their income. And the second problem that Nanda Kishore had was that nobody wanted to become his guru because he was a direct descendant of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So at one point his parents approached him and said, now it's time for you to get married. And he couldn't tolerate the idea of becoming entangled, so he left in the night, he left the house of his parents and he went to Vrindavan. And there he took initiation from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. But his parents were not very happy, so they sent guards all over India to search for their lost son. And that one of the guards arrived in Vrindavan and they approached Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur because they recognized the son in the ashram of Vishwanath. And they explained that he had not obeyed the instructions from his parents. And then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he called Nanda Kishore and he says, why didn't you say the full truth to me? You kept something secret. You cannot keep a secret to your guru. So now you have to give me dakshin. You have to give me a donation, you know, as a repentance. And Nanda Kishore said, oh Guru Maharaj, I give you anything. Anything that you ask me, I will do for you. And what did Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur tell him? You go back to your parents, you get married. So he got married. But very soon after, when they had their first son, he couldn't tolerate family life. So again, he went to Vrindavan. And there he took with him Gaurnitai deities. And when the local governors saw how devotional he was with his deities, they donated land. And he had an ashram and he had many cows. And then he also took some disciples. And one of the disciples was called Bandhu. And Bandhu actually means a simple person, or a little bit naive. A simpleton, like a, externally speaking, not the brightest intellectual person. But he had one very good quality, is that he did a lot of seva. He took care of all the cows of Nanda Kishore Babaji. And he listened faithfully to everything that his guru would say. So one thing that his guru said was that Krishna is eternally herding his cows with his friends in Bandiravan. So he immediately accepted it. Oh, I'm herding cows in Vrindavan. Krishna is herding cows in Vrindavan. So that means I will meet him. So he was traveling to Bandiravan with all his cows and he was searching for Krishna. Based on the instruction from his spiritual master, or his, the statement of his spiritual master, that Krishna is also herding cows in Vrindavan eternally. So for years he was searching, where is Krishna, where is Krishna, where is Krishna? And his anxiety to meet Krishna became so strong that he regularly started to cry and cry out, oh Krishna, you are here, but you're so cruel that you don't show yourself. So his anxiety to meet Krishna grew to a point where Krishna couldn't hold himself back anymore. So suddenly, from one second to the other, Krishna was there, Balaram was there, all his cows were there, and they became very good friends, Bandhu and Krishna. You see? How many cows Krishna has? 900,000 cows, quite some cows. Bandhu had only a few cows. But they became good friends. And every time when Bandhu would go to Bandiravan to meet Krishna, he would bring some picnic with him to share with Krishna. And when Nanda Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj saw that his disciple Bandhu was bringing picnic, a lot of picnic actually, and he said, what are you doing with all these nice ingredients? You know? And he said, oh, I'm going to have picnic with Krishna. So Nanda Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he said, oh, picnic with Krishna? What? Yeah, with Krishna, Balaram. Nanda Kishore would ask him, but how do they look like? So Bandhu described, oh, he's beautiful, his eyes are so like lotus petals, and he always has a peacock feather and has yellow garments, and it's just these jewels that he wears. It's not that the jewels make him beautiful, but he makes the jewels beautiful, and he was describing. So Nanda Kishore was like flabbergasted. How is this possible? Because Bandhu was so honest that he could not lie. But at the same time, Nanda Kishore could not believe that he was actually meeting Krishna. So he was in a dilemma. So then he said, so you invite Krishna Balaram to here, to our place here. What was that place? Shringarvat. So yes, Bandhu says that's a good plan. I will invite Krishna Balaram so that you can also meet Krishna Balaram. So when he met Krishna in Bandiraman, he came with the proposal. My Guru Maharaj says that you are invited for a picnic at our place at Shringarvat. And immediately Krishna answered, no, that's not possible. Yes, but my Guru Maharaj said, and then Krishna said, but I have no dealings with your Guru Maharaj. Bandhu became very upset internally. And he started to separate his cows from the cows of Krishna. And he started to walk away, crying. And then Krishna was running behind Bandhu. Oh, where are you going? Where are you going? Why? You are such good friends. What? And Bandhu said, you don't want to have anything to do with my Guru Maharaj? I don't want to have anything to do with you. That was his Pada Sevanam. That was his strong faith in his own Guru. If Krishna doesn't want to deal with my Guru, then. And then Krishna started running behind him. Don't leave, I'm too attached to you. We became friends and such a nice picnics you brought. And it was not about your Guru, it was about the place of the Guru. Because this is Shringarvat, and Shringarvat is a place dedicated to Radharani. And Balaram cannot go to a place that is associated with Radharani. It's different moods, so it's not that. But you can bring your Guru here. Bandhu was so happy. So he was running, towards his Guru. He said, Guru Maharaj, you can come with me. So next day, with a lot of picnic, he went there. And there, his Guru could see Krishna and Balaram and all the cows, and he was in ecstasy. So this story shows that even the faith of a disciple in his Guru can sometimes even get Guru closer to Krishna. It's not only that the Guru brings the disciple to the spiritual master, but it can also be like the strong faith of the disciple. Sometimes the Guru becomes also encouraged to grow closer to Krishna. So Pada Sevanam is a very important becoming attached to the lotus feet of the spiritual master. In fact, Srila Prabhupada, in his Vyavasayatmika Buddhya verse, in the, to be Ekeya Kurunandana, actually Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he explains that to be Ekeya Kurunandana means to be fully focused on the service of your spiritual master. And Srila Prabhupada took great inspiration from that verse and that commentary of Vishwanath by serving his spiritual master so strongly. So Pada Sevanam is the fourth limb of the 9 processes of devotional service. And as we said, if you become qualified by serving nicely, one day you get second initiation and you can also start worshipping Krishna on the altar and become a pujari, and you engage in archana. Now this verse, Kriteya Jayato Vishnu, Tretayam Yajato Makai, Dvapare Parichayayam, and then Kalota Dari Kirtana. So these are the 4 cosmic seasons that are there. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dvapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. So in Satya Yuga, in Krita Yuga, first Yuga, Jayato Vishnu, single meditation on Vishnu was the process. So silent meditation on Vishnu, privately, solely, secludedly, that was the process. In Treta Yuga, big yajnas, performing great yajnas was the performance for becoming self-realized. Dvapare Parichayayam, in Treta Yuga, the process of deity worship was the process for self-realization. And Kalota Dari Kirtanat. In Kali Yuga, chanting the holy names of the Lord is the right process. So here it's mentioned whatever result was obtained in Satya Yuga by meditating on Vishnu, in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, and in Dvapara Yuga by worshipping the Lord's deity form, can be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Now if this is a fact, then the question is, why do we engage in deity worship? Tretayam and Dvapare Parichayayam. In Dvapara Yuga, it's the worship of the deities, but we are in Kali Yuga. It's already 5,000 years. So, is it not, why then deity worship? We don't need deities, right? It's an empty cupboard. No deities.
I've heard that deity worship is getting us purified more. Like rules and regulations.
So the holy name doesn't purify?
Like a moral support.
Like a small support?
Yeah. So like someone is still there until he reaches a higher level, he needs still some kind of moral support till we reach a higher, that until we know that Lord stands in our heart.
So it's like an extra help? Yes. How many of you went to Vrindavan? Krishna Balaram Temple, for example? You see the 3 pujaris blowing their koncha,
Yes.
and the doors are closed, and you're there with thousands and thousands of people.
Yes.
So just imagine, blowing of the conch shells and everybody excited, and the whole crowd is getting in ecstasy. And then the doors are open, and then you have the curtains. The tension builds up. And then the pujari opens the curtain, and just imagine, no deities. Or here, deities are gone. Like in the story of Gauradesh Pandit, who jumped from the altar, and then Gauradesh Pandit became furious that the deities had escaped. So just imagine, no deities on the altar. No Radha Gopinath, no Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, no Gaurnitai, Radhadesh. Radhadesh without the deities. Gauradesh without Vijay Gauranga, without Dayamita. It's not the same, no? No cooking for the deities, no prasad. No kirtan in front of the deities. It's a whole different story. So, therefore, you have 2 paths that we have to traverse. It's the Bhagavad Vidhi and the Pancharatriki Vidhi. Bhagavad Vidhi means the process, includes the chanting of the holy name. It includes reading and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita. And it includes sharing and preaching the vows. This is called the Bhagavad Marg, or Bhagavad Vidhi. Srila Prabhupada says in one of his purports that this process of Bhagavad Vidhi, if you just do this process, that is for the Paramahamsas. Paramahamsas don't need deities. Sufficient, the holy name is sufficient. Just chanting the holy name is sufficient. But if you're not Paramahamsa, then you have to follow Pancharatriki Vidhi. Why? It's rules and regulations. one of the most important rule and regulation in deity worship is cleanliness. And what's the second one? You have to be spotlessly clean, which is not always easy when you get older, because especially men, they get this problem of going to the toilet a lot. So if you do 2-3 hours deity worship and in between you need to go to the toilet, it's like, it means you also have to regulate what you eat and drink before that. So cleanliness is very important, and the second one is punctuality. Wow. Suddenly it came. Punctuality. So it means you have to be regulated, you have to be clean, you have to be regulated in your lifestyle. So rules and regulations. Diksha, initiation. Actually, it's interesting. In ISKCON now we are discussing a lot about Siksha and Diksha Guru. And that Siksha is actually estimated in our movement, and that Diksha is overestimated. Like you have big ceremonies for Diksha, but Siksha, nobody, it's not something official. Bhanu Swami gave a very nice explanation actually. He says, if you follow Bhagavad Marg, Bhagavad Vidhi, emphasis is on Siksha Guru. Because if you want to grow in your chanting and Bhagavatam, you have to regularly associate with Siksha Guru. In the Pancharatriki Vidhi, Diksha is essential. Because if you don't have Diksha, you don't get the mantras that are necessary for deity worship. So therefore, Diksha is very important in the process of Pancharatriki Vidhi. Otherwise, you cannot enter the altar, you cannot offer anything to the deities without the mantras that you get in Diksha. So I found it a very nice meditation that for the Bhagavad Vidhi, for hearing, chanting, listening, Bhagavatam, etc., Siksha is essential.
Is it similar to Raga Nuga Bhakti and Vaidhi Bhakti?
No. That's not related. That's not related. It's different paths.
Yeah, different.
You have the path of chanting, hearing Bhagavatam, etc. This is called Bhagavad Vidhi. It's sufficient for the Mahabhagavats, for the Paramahamsas. But if you are not on the highest level of Krishna consciousness, then you need both. You need the Bhagavad Vidhi and you need Pancharatriki Vidhi. And deity worship is very much part of Pancharatriki Vidhi. So this means this keeps you regulated, this keeps you clean, and as you also mentioned, it's like a meditation on a form. So that if you chant the holy name of the Lord purely, then out of the name comes the form. And out of the form come the qualities, and then you have the leelas, etc. And then you have the dham. But in deity worship, you immediately have the form. And otherwise it becomes like an impersonal meditation if you chant only the holy name. So this is very important. It's actually, Srila Prabhupada established the importance of deity worship and taught his disciples how to conduct the deities according to bona fide scriptures. Deity worship means caring for the Lord as a person. And by serving the deity, we understand ourselves to be his servant, with practical service to offer. Although chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is sufficient in itself for going back to Godhead, deity worship is one of the 5 important limbs of devotional service. It's recommended for the purification, I think you mentioned that, for the purification of people in Kali Yuga. So it gives an extra element of purification. And another nice meditation on this one is that deity worship is a wonderful preparation for going back to Godhead. In Goloka Vrindavan, Mother Yasoda wakes up Krishna. In deity worship, we wake up Krishna. Mother Yasoda bathes Krishna, the Pujari also bathes Krishna. Radharani cooks for Krishna, the Pujari cooks for Krishna. So it's a way to prepare ourselves that what we do here, what is happening there, we also do here as a preparation to go there. So therefore, I put the deities from here.
Oh, wonderful.
So this is a difference, no? This? This.
Yes.
So let's not exclude deity worship. Okay? Then Vandanam. This is the 6th one. Vandanam, praying. Do you know many prayers? Do you meditate on prayers? Yes? I see a few devotees reading. Anyone wants to share a favorite prayer?
Prayer is sometimes very personal, it will come naturally, but
Like a
I don't know,
personal
like specific prayer, I don't know.
You're not sure about a specific prayer, but sometimes a prayer comes up from your heart.
Yeah, the natural,
A personal
natural
prayer.
words.
Okay?
But like prayers could also be like one of the songs of the Acharyas, for example, or just like
Songs of the Acharyas could be beautiful prayers.
like the some of the Sharanagati versions from Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
Saranagati prayers from Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
Prayers of Prahlad Maharaj.
Prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. Yes.
Bhishma Devi and Kunti Maharani.
Ah, wonderful. Kunti Devi, beautiful prayer.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo Mo.
Oh, also Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo Mo. Very beautiful too. And actually, Satsvarup Maharaj says you have two kinds of prayers. You have prayers from very advanced souls. Some noises there.
Yes.
Maybe temporarily close that window. It's called Uttama Sloka. Uttama Sloka are prayers that are composed by previous devotees, advanced devotees, who are not mixed devotees, but their prayers are pure. So if you recite those prayers, it's very beautiful how Satsvarup Maharaj was phrasing it. It's almost like you stand next or slightly behind that devotee who offers that prayer to Krishna, and you tap that devotee on the shoulder and you say, is it okay that I chant along with you? Yeah? Can we chant together because your prayer is so pure? Do you allow me to join in your prayer so that at least the prayer is pure and not mixed with my mental concoctions? Therefore, Swarup Damodar Goswami, whenever a devotee would compose prayers or songs for the glorification of the Lord, Swarup Damodar Goswami would always check, is this a bona fide prayer? Is there not something impersonal in this prayer? Is it not some self-aggrandizement in this prayer? So he would reject many prayers. He said, no, this is not a pure prayer. You cannot go to Lord Chaitanya to offer this prayer. So it's good to have your own prayer, but it's also very good to use Uttama Sloka, prayers that are composed by others. One of my favorite prayers, and you know this one. Do you recognize the picture? What prayer is linked to this one? Start with Ai. Ah, yes. Ai Nanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitamam Vishameva Vambudo Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrisam Vichintaya. Ai means, oh, Nanda Tanuja means the darling of Nanda Maharaj, is Krishna. Kinkaram. Kinkaram is a very nice word. It means servant or slave. And it means Kim Kara. Kara means doing, and Kim means what. What can I do? That's a servant. What can I do? So Kinkara, it's a very regular word you hear many times. So, oh, Nanda, oh darling of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna, I want to become your Kinkara. I am your Kinkara. This is my natural position. But, Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddho, somehow or other, Prabhupada translates, somehow or other, I have fallen into this condition of material life, just like you see the devotee drowning in the ocean of material suffering. Bhavam Buddho, in the ocean of material existence. Kripaya, oh, become merciful to me. Tava pada pankaja stikta duli, sadri samvichitaya. Please be merciful unto me, my Lord, and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. So it's not a big thing that you are asking. You just want to become an atom at the lotus feet of the Lord. But please get me out of this terrible ocean of material existence. Oh my Lord, oh Krishna, son of Maharaj Nanda, I am your eternal servant. But because of my own fruitive acts, I have fallen in this horrible ocean of knee-sides. Now please be causelessly merciful to me. Consider me a particle of dust at your lotus feet. So for me, It has a lot. It has our fallen condition, the way I am conditioned now, with lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, envy, all that is in my heart. And then reaching out to that darling of Nanda Maharaj, and reaching out, please be merciful. For me, there's a lot of ingredients here for a change of heart. Now you remember maybe this one? If you want to chant good rounds, the place is important, you know, the period of the day is important, the pronunciation is important, the way you hear is important. All these things are important. Pointed attention is important. But it is not mathematics. Huh? It's not P plus P plus P plus P plus P plus P is prema. Do you think you can calculate it? Okay, so if I do this right, this right, this right, this right, this right, and this right, then I will get prema. You think it works like that? Like mathematics?
No.
So what is missing in this one? What's the last P? Praying.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's not the calculation, all these formulas that will create prema, but it is the prayerful attitude while chanting. Just imagine chanting with or without prayer. It makes all the difference. What did Srila Prabhupada say? You have to chant holy names like a child crying, praying for the mother.
Yes.
Completely hopeless, helpless. This is so beautiful. Oh Radha, please draw my mind towards you and release me from the material world. Oh Krishna, please attract my mind to you. Oh Radha, captivate my heart with your sweetness. Oh Krishna, purify my mind by imparting the knowledge of how to worship you through your devotees. Oh Krishna, grant me the firmness to appreciate your name, qualities and pastimes. Oh Krishna, may I develop a taste for serving you. Oh Radha, make me eligible to serve you. Oh Radha, teach me how I can serve you. Oh Radha, let me hear about your intimate pastimes with your beloved. Oh Ram, let me hear about your intimate pastimes with your beloved. Oh Radha, reveal your pastimes. Oh Radha, etc. Oh Ram, make me eligible to serve you. Oh Radha, be pleased with me. Oh Radha, be pleased with me. So this is when we chant. How many of you are chanting 16 rounds? Yes? Chant 16 rounds. You chant 16 rounds, it's 13,824 times. Oh Radha. Hare means Radha. Oh Radha. Oh Krishna. So do you think that tasteless or emotionless chanting, is that the real chanting?
No, the prema is always good.
Yes. What is this verse from Bhaktivinoda Thakur? What is it? Nama Nai Hoi. Nama Kare Baye Hoi, Nama Nai Hoi. Very simple. Nama Kare Baye Hoi. If you simply chant this 16 names, Nama Kare Baye Hoi, you just say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Nama Nai Hoi. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said. It's not chanted. Nama Kare Bahir Hoi. Bahir means the external syllables.
Yeah,
32 syllables. What is it? Iti Shodashikana. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Mechanicals.
Mechanical chanting. Nama Nai Hoi. It's not chanting. So prayerful is so important. So Vandana. Do you think Vandana is the most important limb of devotion service?
Yes.
But you agree it's important, right?
First three.
Huh?
The first three.
First three are for you. Okay. Come to that later. So then we come to Dasha, becoming his servant. Who is this? He is our example. So as explained, Padasevana means you are occasionally engaged in a service. Dasham is serious business. We become the servant. becoming a servant. By surrendering to Guru and taking Diksha, we received the name Das or Dasi. So our new identity is servant and not anymore enjoyer. Like we always make this joke, you go from Bhokta et to Bhakta et to Ekachakra Das. You see? Bhokta means you enjoy it. I was completely in the enjoying spirit before I joined Krishna consciousness, like anything. But then you become like a practicing devotee, but you keep your material name. It's like struggling. And then you become Das. Unfortunately, many times in our movement, including myself, that when you get this name, Ekachakragram, and you come home to your home temple, and then they say, oh, Ekachakragram Prabhu. It's not anymore Bhakta Et, now suddenly it's Prabhu, and you think, now I made it. So there is always pride mixing in, okay, now I got rid of my material name, now I'm spiritual, I'm Prabhu. No, you're not Prabhu, you're Das, a Das, and a Das. That is our new identity that we got. Actually, Muktir Hitvanyata Rupa, Swarupena Vyavastiti. This is the real definition of liberation. Is you give up, Hitva means to give up. Anyata, all others, Rupa, all other forms. You give up all other forms. And Swarupena Vyavastiti. And you become situated in your occupational position as a soul. And what is the occupational position of the soul? Very famous verse, Jivara Swarup Krishnera Nitya Das, Krishnera Tatashta Shakti, Dena Veda Prakash. So it's our eternal occupational position to be a servant of Krishna. Why do you think Lord Nityananda Prabhu was so ecstatic? What was the identity of Lord Nityananda according to he himself?
Das, eternal Das, eternal servant.
He's Lord Das. Always Das. Although he is the source of all the Purusha avatars, he's the source of the material existence. And still he ever felt himself Das. Advaita Acharya, one time, he was close to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and suddenly he started to dance. Advaita Acharya is not different from Mahavishnu. And from Mahavishnu all the material universes come. So he's quite a person, right? Mahavishnu. So Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu. But suddenly he jumped up and he started to dance and he chanted one mantra. And the mantra that he chanted with ecstasy was Chaitanya Dasa Muni, Chaitanya Das, Chaitanya Dasa Muni, Tandra Dasa Das. I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya, I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya, I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya, I am the servant of his servant. And he was in an ecstasy. So in the material world, when you say, oh, I'm the servant of such and such, they all think, poor you, I hope you will promote yourself to something higher. There are not many books, New Age books or management. There are many management books nowadays to say how to become a leader. You have no books how to become a servant. Yes. Whereas the actual occupational position of the soul is to become the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. We don't learn that in this material world, no? We have to become the master. So Lakshman is a very, very famous example. Lakshman was a servant of whom?
Sri Ram.
Sri Ram. When Ram was in exile, Lakshman served him for 14 years, and it's mentioned that he didn't sleep one night. Just being always alert to serving Lord Ram. So, do you think he was depressed? He was morose? Lakshman was very happily serving Lord Ram. So, I think that this is the best process, to always pose yourself as a servant. It's such a safe position to be a servant. Right? So this is the best process. Hanuman says it personally. This is the best process. Okay, so 2 more. Sakyam, becoming his friends. Who is the prototype? Who is the example of being in friendship? Arjuna. Yeah. Beautiful. Tomare loite ami hoinu avatara. Ami bina bandhuara. Keache tomara. What does it mean? From which song is this? Maharaj, he said, when we asked about why Shravana, why hearing, Maharaj said something. It wakes us up. So what is the song? That's
Ji Jago.
you see. Ji Jago, Ji Jago, Gaura Chandra Bole, Kota Nidra Jao Maya, Pisachira Bole. This one is also in that verse. Tomare Loite Ami, Hoinu Avatara, Ami Bina Bandhuara, Keache Tomara. It's beautiful, no? What does it mean?
You are the greatest avatar.
Tomare Loite Ami, Hoinu. You have especially descended. For what?
There's no one more fallen than me.
To save me, Ami Bina Bandhuara. Except for you, who else is my friend? Right? I have descended just to save you. Other than myself, this is Lord Chaitanya. You have no friend in this world. So to become the friend of Krishna is so important. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavatam, you find many verses with Surida. Suridam Sarvabhutanam, right? Krishna says, I'm the friend of all living entities. In Dutch you say, I don't know if you say that in German, that this person is my hartsvriend.
That's fine.
Did you say that? Hartsvriend?
Bestie.
Huh?
Das Wort gibt glaube ich, Herzfreund.
But really said that in Dutch, we say it's my heart's friend. You know? So Surit means actually the person who's in your heart, deeply in your heart. So Krishna says that many times. He's like our soul mate, right? Here, for example, in 929, you know the verse, Samoham Sarvabhuteshu, Name Dveshyus, Tina Priya, Ye Vijanti tu Mam Bhakya, and then Mai Teteshu Chapyaham. So here it says, I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I'm equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, and he's in me, and I'm also a friend to him. Beautiful, huh? Krishna invites us to become his friend, just like Bandhu became a friend of Krishna. And when Bandhu said, oh, I go away, Krishna started running behind him. No, don't go away, you're my friend. This one, Bhagavad Gita 4.3. Saivayam maya teja, yoga prokta puratana, bhakto shime, saka cheti, rahashyam yetatuttamam. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you, because you are my devotee as well as my friend. And therefore, you can understand this transcendental mystery. So if you want to understand Gita, what do you have to become?
Friend of Krishna.
You cannot understand Gita if you don't become Krishna's friend.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
This one? This one we can chant together, okay? Bhaktaram yakyatapasham sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam yatvamam shanti marichati. If you understand these three things, that Krishna is the Bhakta, he is the enjoyer. Krishna is the, what is the term? Sarvaloka Maheshwara, he is the
All controller.
The controller of Loka means planets, but also means people. So he's the controller of all planets, all people. And Suridam, he's the heart's friend, the soulmate of all living entities. If you understand this, then you will get Shanti. Like in one lecture I started by asking 4 questions to the audience. It was a very interesting experience. I said, how many of you believe that Krishna is the enjoyer? And everybody said, oh yes, Krishna should be the enjoyer of all my sacrifice. How many of you believe that Krishna is controlling everything? Not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Lord. And everybody, yes. How many of you know and feel that Krishna is the friend of all living entities? Yes. How many of you are peaceful? But Krishna says, if you know these 3 things, you become peaceful.
Yes.
So that means knowing and knowing are 2 different things. You can know it, but you maybe have not realized it fully. Maybe I still feel I'm the enjoyer and the controller. Maybe I want to be the friend of all living entities. I want to take Krishna's place. Then you can never be Shanti. Can never be. And here also, Shinvatam Swagata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, Ridyantastahi Avadrani, Vidunoti Surit Satam. Again, the word Surit. Krishna becomes our well-wisher if we clean our heart. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his message, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanting. So if we become pure in heart and a devotee of Krishna, then actually we also become Surit. We become the heart friend of others also. Anyone knows a verse where the qualities of a devotee are described, where also Surit is mentioned? You know the verse of Kapila Muni to Devahuti, describing the qualities of a devotee? He says, Titikshava Karunika Surida Sarvadehinam. So a devotee is tolerant, he is merciful, and he is the friend of all living entities. So Surida. So we have to become friendly by becoming the friend of Krishna. So I think this is the best process, no? Becoming Krishna's friend. How many of you would like to be Krishna's friend? Yes? Or girlfriend? Yes? You want to be the friend of God? Not many people in the world can even think about this. They think, oh, the Almighty God. There are many atheists, but those who are theists, most of the time they see God as the person to fear, as the Almighty Lord. It's like so good, you cannot even imagine. But our philosophy goes so much further. Yes, we know that he is the biggest of the great. He's the unimaginably omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. He's there. And still we have the opportunity to become his friend. Like, you know what is quite incredible? Is that although we are unlimitedly, insignificantly small, still we have the power to increase the happiness of the unlimitedly great. Have you thought about it? That you can increase Krishna's pleasure? And you also know that this is our raison d'être, this is the reason why we exist, is to increase the pleasure of Krishna. So we are so small, but in the story of Gopkumar, when after his whole journey he arrived in Vrindavan, what was Krishna doing? He was interacting with the gopis, with his parents, with the cowherd boys, but as soon as he saw Gopkumar, he dropped everything and he ran to Gopkumar to embrace him. So we can even become influencers in Krishna's pastimes. So there's such something unimaginable that how small we are, and still we have the power to influence Krishna's pastimes. Anyway, maybe it's too esoteric. So let's go.
Syamanand Prabhu was mentioning one thing during his classes in Gauradesh, in the kids Mela, in kids festival.
Yes.
He said to the kids that we love Krishna not because he's God, but we love God because he's Krishna. So it's okay.
Yeah, and the Gaudiya Vaishnavism says the only reason why we worship Krishna is because Krishna is related to Radharani.
The next level.
That's next level. Yeah, it's beyond mind. So let's go to the last limb. What is the last limb after Sakyam? Atmanivedam. So we reached the final stage. Who is this?
Bali Maharaj.
And who is the other one?
Bama.
Vamanadev. So Bali Maharaj, he promised 3 steps, but after 2 steps everything was covered. So he had to break his promise or surrender his head to Vamanadev. So this is Atmanivedana. Surrender is in 4 levels, according to Krishna himself in the 10th canto. This is a verse. Praner arter diya vacha, srayo acharanam sada. You can surrender in 4 levels. First one is called prana. Prana means you really surrender everything, your whole life energy. Prana means your life energy. So all your life energy you give to Krishna. How many of you can do that? You know, what is this verse? Iyayasya haredesh dashe karmana manasa gira nikila swapya vastashu jiva mukta sa uchate. You are a jiva mukta if you are a liberated soul, if you are able to give your activities, your mind, your words, everything in Krishna's service. So this is prana. This is the highest level, prana. But I don't think when I ask how many of you, can you raise your hand? Who is here? Prana. Yes? Anyone? You see? Nothing happens. I knew it. Okay, if it's not prana, not your life energy, then at least Krishna says you can give your artha, your wealth and your resources. Of course, for a materialistic person, wealth is as dear as your life. So many times, you know, I saw in the prasadam room that there is a donation requested for prasadam of €5. In Gauradesh we have this phenomenon that sometimes you have families, especially Indian families by the way, because they are coming with sometimes with 10 or 20. They come for prasadam, Sunday feast, the whole queue, one family, and you say, oh, would appreciate if you could give a donation. And then they come out with €5 for 20 people Sunday feast, and they drop €5 in the donation box. Because wealth is so difficult to renounce. People have actually no problem in spending €150 in a fancy restaurant, but when they come to the devotees and they take prasadam, which is more sumptuous, they give not 150, they give 5.
Yes.
You see?
Yeah, we have also.
So that phenomena is there. So if you cannot give your prana, at least give your artha. Actually, Prabhupada says that grihastas should give 50% of their income. I am not following that, I'm sorry. Sometimes it feels like I'm giving prana, but not all my artha. You know, so that I was breath for the services, but the money I keep a little bit for safety reasons.
Safety.
Okay, what happens if you cannot give your artha? What is the next one?
Seva,
Diya. What means diya?
buddhi,
Your intelligence.
intelligence.
Krishna says at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, when you study this conversation, then you worship me by your
buddhi,
by your intelligence.
intelligence.
So to study Bhagavad Gita means you give your intelligence to Krishna. You think you can do that sometimes? You do it now, right?
Yes.
So it's more easy than to give your life or to give your artha. It's cheaper to use your diya. And the last one, if you say, well, I'm also not going to use my in Krishna service. Then what is the last one? Vacha, your words. At least we can chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song.
One page.
Not to make a picture, I can share the presentation.
Which sloka number is? Which sloka it is?
Oh, it's from the 10th canto. Krishna speaks, I think it's in relation to the trees.
Ah, okay. Yeah, Melkuver, yeah.
Not Namakuvera Manikriva, but that the trees, he's in the forest with the cowherd boys, and then he's glorifying the trees.
Okay.
That the tree gives everything, you know, shades and protection from rain, gives fruits. The bark is used for the sages to make clothes from.
Yeah.
And if the tree is useless and old, then you cut it and it doesn't protest, and you can burn the wood and you become warm. So this is, and then Krishna speaks this verse, Prana Arta Dhyavacha, Straya Acharanam Sada. You know, and actually human life should be gearing toward this. You know?
It's a wonderful message.
Yes, it's a very nice meditation. So this song is from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We will not sing it, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually says, my mind, my body and family, whatever may be mine, I've surrendered at your lotus feet. So in other words, I had one congregational member of Gauradesh. He was a bhakta for some time, and then he felt like, I'm not capable of staying in the ashram, I want to marry, I want to have a, he was like a Vaishya type of person. So he started a business, like prefabric houses. So he's very expert now in prefabricating houses. Like he actually made an extension to my house.
Okay.
And he came with 5 big trailers and with 5 units, prefabricated.
Yes.
And in 2 hours, I suddenly had an extension, you know. So it's prefabricated houses,
Yes.
they prefabricate. But he says sometimes it's so complicated, his business, but he offered his business to Krishna. So he says it's not my business, it's Krishna's business. So what he does when there is a problem that he cannot solve, he goes to his deities and he says, this is your company, it's your problem.
Yes.
So you should solve it. And then many times he gets the inspiration how to solve it. And so he really feels like, Manasa deha geha yogi chumor, arpila tu apade, nanda kishore. That I surrender everything. My mind is yours, my house is yours, my wife is yours, my children are yours. In other words, when you have your own home, then maybe at the beginning stage you don't have an altar, but then suddenly at one point you become inspired, you make your altar, maybe in the back room, you know, a hidden room, secret room, there is your altar. But then when you become more advanced, you want Krishna to be in the center of your house. So you put it in your living room and it gets a very prominent place. So in other words, at one point, you become actually part of Krishna's life because it's Krishna's house. And you become suddenly a servant in your own house because it's not anymore your own house, it's Krishna's house. So that's a meditation that you can do when you don't live in the temple, but when you live outside, you can create, you know, an altar, and then suddenly Krishna becomes the master of the house. And all the family members become his servant. You see, and you cook for him, and you clean the house for him. So the whole mindset changes then because of that.
I think very well. In India, many people who open their businesses or they have their factories, their own business. So they make Tirupati Balaji as a partner in the business. So Tirupati Balaji is Venkateshwar Srinivas from Andhra, and they officially make him as a like 20% partner. Whatever income, profit comes of my business, 20% goes to Bhagwan. If there is a loss, then also Balaji, they ask to Balaji, you have to bear the loss also. So somehow.
So they reclaim the money from the temple or something?
No, they don't reclaim, but they go to him and say, now please compensate,
Okay.
like as a prayer.
So this mindset is so beautiful. So is one other word for Atmanivedam is Saranagati. And Saranagati has also 6 limbs, which we're not going to deeply go into it, but it's doing things favorable for the execution of devotional service, and rejecting anything unfavorable for the process of devotional service. Rakshasishati Vishvaso. Vishvaso means strong faith that Krishna is our protector. Mare Krishna Rakeke, Rake Krishna Mareke. Krishna will protect me. If he wants to kill me, nobody can protect me. If he wants to protect me, nobody can kill me. Right? No, corporate way, Varanamtata. Means he's my maintainer. You know the story of, is it Srinivas? No, it's Srivas. Srivas Thakur, he was chanting, and then Lord Chaitanya said, you're only chanting, are you not doing anything for maintaining yourself? You know that story? And then actually, Srivas Thakur, he, as a reply, he did this. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, what is this for a strange answer? And he said, well, the philosophy in my life is that if one day we don't have any food in the house for me and my family members, then we fast. And we engage in kirtan. We are servants of the Lord. Then second day, if no food comes, second day, then what will we do?
Fast.
We fast and we continue chanting Hare Krishna. And if the third day, no food comes, he said, I will go to the Ganges and I drown myself. Because Lord Krishna will provide. So this is very strong faith in corporate way, Varanamtata. I don't have that faith. I think I have to have a corporate job, work outside. Maybe some say it's responsible, Prabhu, you're very responsible. But underlying there is also a sense of, when do I have enough? I'm 56, almost getting 57. So till what point can I say, okay, I depend on Krishna, How much money should you have on the bank balance to feel safe enough to say, okay, Krishna, now I surrender to you? It's tricky, but it's like in our whole movement, should we be responsible grihastas and work, but till what point in time should you do that? And when can you have enough faith to say, okay, now I fully serve, Krishna will find a way to...
Vanprastha, like going to the one.
Yeah, when shall I go into the stage of Vanaprastha? Should I be 65? Like in Belgium it's 67.
Yeah, in Germany also.
67?
Yeah.
You don't have any mental or physical health anymore
Yes.
at one point. So it's a struggle. But here it says, go pratve Varanamtata. And then Atma Nikshepa. This is called humility. It's also an aspect of full surrender, is to be humble. And Karpanye, Atma Nikshepa means to surrender the soul. And Karpanye means to feeling meek and humble.
So Atma Nikshepa and Atma Nivedanam is almost same, or they have some difference? Atma Nivedanam and Atma Nikshepam?
Atma Nikshepa is one aspect of complete surrender to the Lord, but doing, like for example, when you're not yet on the level of Atma Nikshepa, you can still surrender to the Lord by accepting everything favorable, rejecting everything unfavorable, by understanding that Krishna is our protector and our maintainer, like that. But the ultimate is you surrender everything, like praner archa, vacha, you give everything.
So Atma Nivedana is like the maximum level, like it's a complete Atma Nivedana.
It's like Bali Maharaj, his mood was, I have nothing to give anymore, so I just give myself now. And that's what Krishna expects from us. That you can see the end of the Gita, Sarvadhamam Parityajya, Mamekam Saranam Praja. It's a very nice fact that Prabhupada says that Sarvadhamam Parityajya, when I came to America, many young boys and girls, they practice this Sarvadhamam Parityajya. Give up all religion.
Yeah. Yes.
But I came to teach them Mamekam Saranam Praja. You see, the religion they already gave up, but the surrendering to Krishna that they had to learn. So I came specifically for Mamekam. Don't worry about your sin, I will relieve you. So this is the best process, no? According to Bali Maharaj, this is the best process. So 9 processes of devotional service. Who convinced you the most? Which presentation was the most convincing? Shravan or Kirtanam? Smaranam? Padasevanam? Archanam? Vandanam? Dashyam? Sakyam? Atmanivedanam? How many of you feel mostly inclined by Shravanam? Maharaj, yes? Yes. I also have the same.
Smaranam or Shravanam?
Shravanam.
Sravanam, first one, hearing.
To hear. Yes.
Can I say something about this?
Please.
I don't know if it's the most important, but maybe the foundation of all the others.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you remember at the end of this first Shravanam presentation, Prabhupada very clearly said, it's the first and foremost
Yes.
of all processes. So if you are in a conditioned state of mind, we have to continue hearing. And you could see in the list of why we are hearing, there were like 14 reasons. If you study those 14 reasons, it's Shravanam is so amazing. It feeds all the other 8, in fact. Right? How many of you feel like Kirtanam is the most important? Yes?
Very important.
Very important, yes, Kirtanam. It's not just, maybe we should not phrase it like, is it the most important, but are you mostly inclined? What is your inclination? My inclination is more Shravanam. I catch myself, when I have free time, I go to my room, I close all the doors, I put on Prabhupada's bhajan and I study Prabhupada's books. This is my inclination. Whereas others, they always either take their japamala to chant extra rounds, or they chant bhajans, or they are always engaged in kirtan. They are more inclined to that. You want
I was
to
going
say?
to say that I think Shravanam nourishes everything else. Like
Yes.
you said, it was the foundation.
Yes.
It's like you hear Harikatha, and then that kind of like is like nectar, and then by hearing more, you're able to then I think it just kind of enhances everything else, like your chanting and kirtan, everything else that
Yes.
automatically
It,
kind
it
of follows
fuels all the
everything.
rest. It's very
Yeah.
nice. Yes.
Also, it's inclined when you chant or sing that you hear also.
Mm.
So the Shvaranam is also inside the
Right.
Shvaranam.
Yes. Yes, beautiful. So anyone feels mostly inclined to Shmaranam? You're so convinced. Amazing. Tell me, why?
It is because based on my studies actually, because when I was in my early days, I used to read a lot of books, mainly the life of saints across all over India. The one thing that was extremely common, whether it's Madhvacharya Sampradaya or Ramanuja Sampradaya, or all the saints that came up in the Marathi saints who are the followers of Pandharapur, Panduranga, Vittala, the one thing that is common is Namachapa, Smaranam. So I feel like the Kirtanam is just something very unique to Gaudiya Vaishnavism, but considering the entire Hinduism, that Namachapa is the main part there. So that's why I was convinced with the Namasmarana.
And it's also backed up by our Smarta Vyosa Vishnu, Vishmata Vishnu. You know, you can do kirtan, you can do hearing, but if you don't remember Krishna, then it's all wasting time.
Yeah,
Right?
Krishna conscious.
You have to be Krishna conscious, right? So you can defend all the 9 processes. And that's the beauty about Vedic literature. It's actually the strategy in the Vedic literature that any process, even if it's Karma Kanda or Jnana Kanda, Upasana Kanda, any Kanda, they always say this is the best, and if you do this, then you will achieve this. Because according to your own consciousness, you have to have faith in a certain process. Like you have 18 Puranas. 6 Puranas are in the mode of ignorance, 6 are in the mode of passion, 6 are in the mode of goodness. If you read the 6 in the mode of ignorance, Kanda Purana, Shiva Purana, etc., it's very clearly stated there that Lord Shiva is the supreme.
Yes.
No one else is supreme, it's Shiva who is supreme.
Yes.
But in the Puranas, in the mode of goodness, Vishnu Purana, then it's clearly said that Vishnu is supreme. So therefore you have to understand from the broader picture where is what and how are things situated. So yes, you can say Shravanam is the best, You can say Kirtanam in Kali Yuga. There is only one way.
But the Goswamis finally came to the conclusion that whatever you think is the best, just go with that.
Yes, that was the conclusion in Prabhupada's statement at the beginning, that any of these 9 is sufficient, and actually all the other 8 are included in that process. But here we talk about your inclination. Are you inclined for more hearing? Are you more inclined for chanting? I think this boy is inclined for kirtan. Right? Mridanga kirtan, this is your connection with Krishna. Smaranam, contemplation. Divyat vrindaranya kalpadrugana, such beautiful verse. How many of you are really active servants and want to Padasevanam? Sometimes in Gauradesh we have, I was, at that day that I was doing Pujari service, I came in the big devotee kitchen, the big kitchen where we cook for the devotees, and the whole kitchen was full of dirty pots. so I was thinking, nobody's on the schedule.
Yes.
And then I was thinking, okay, let me start. And I became more and more ecstatic, I put on bhajan and I was just scrubbing the pots, and it was like huge piles.
Yes.
And normally I go to bed at 8, but now I went to bed at 10. But it was so exciting. I was just thinking, I'm serving Krishna by scrubbing the pots. So that is also nice. It's also part of Sevana.
Our Gagan Prabhu do in the Gauradesh also.
Yes.
Yesoda Jivan Prabhu and Johannes Prabhu, they are all.
Wonderful. Some devotees are very inclined towards Archana, deity worship. We have devotees in Radhadesh like Nikunya Vasini. She's doing 45 years serving Radha Gopinath, dressing every week, 2 times, sewing things for the deities.
And
So,
her husband, Prema
Siddhi.
yeah.
Prema Siddhi also, he was head pujari for 25 years.
Yes.
So when I go on the altar, when I do an arti, it's okay. But if I wake up the deities in the morning and their wigs are, on the sides and the crowns and everything, and you have to almost dress them, my heartbeat goes up to 170, 180, my hands start shaking, sweat comes, I smell myself.
Yes.
And I think I'm completely misplaced here. I don't know, where to put the crown. I get completely messed up. I'm so not inclined to, little jewelry and this and that. It's very difficult for me. Although I know it's purifying, it's close to deities, etc., etc. But somehow my inclination is more hearing, chanting, like that. Okay, so I think you have made your choice, but there is no wrong choice. If you say, I choose for Dashyam, wonderful, become a servant of Krishna. I choose for Sakyam, become a friend of Krishna. Ultimately, we have to come to Atma Nivedanam, to surrender everything. So thank you very much for attending this first introductory and first session. Tomorrow morning we will go over the 9 stages from Shraddha to Prema and contemplate on those 9 different stages, and then the Sunday feast lecture will be about the 9 qualities that you develop when you advance in Krishna consciousness. Sri Prabhupada ki Jai.
Thank you. A small follow-up. Can I ask something? Can we ask a question?
Yes, please. Maharaj is also here. If you have difficult questions, then Maharaj can answer. When there are easy questions, I can try to answer.
So, anybody have any questions, please?
I have. So, whenever we do the chanting, it is usually said that we should hear that thing, but it is not well discussed about rupa. I mean, the deity which we have to meditate while chanting. Why is the rupa is not considered while chanting? Not much discussed in the ISKCON.
So, in the Nectar of Instruction of Rupa Goswami, the essential verse of actually all the verses in scripture is Nama Rupa Charitari Sukirtananu Smrityo Kramena Rasanama Nisini Yoja. So So the essence of all instructions is that 24 hours a day we have to nicely hear and chant about Krishna's name, form, pastimes, and qualities. Now Prabhupada, he does not recommend us to meditate on the form. He says, in this age of Kali, the form of the Lord, Kali Kale Nama Rupa, Krishna Avatar. So in Kali Yuga, the form of the Lord comes as the name. Now when you meditate deeply on the name, and you hear of course about Krishna's pastimes, etc., then automatically during your purificatory processes, out of the name comes the Rupa. So the Rupa is manifestation from the name. And then when the Rupa of the Lord manifests in our mind automatically because of the chanting, then also Guna will come. Because when you see the Lord, automatically also you remember his beautiful, sweet qualities that even the Lord Narayan doesn't have, like Venu Madhuri, Rupa Madhuri, Lila Madhuri, like that. So out of the form come the qualities of Krishna, and when the qualities manifest, then also automatically the Leelas will manifest. Just by chanting the holy name, form will come, qualities will come, pastimes will come, and then the Dham will manifest. The Dham, the holy Dham, Vrindavan Dham. So ultimately, you should go from Nam to Dham. From Nam to Rupa, to Guna, to Lila, to Dham. And ultimately, the idea is that you enter the Dham. So the holy name can bring us to the holy Dham. After leaving this body, we go to Goloka Vrindavan and we become part of his pastimes. So we focus on the name, and Rupa will automatically manifest when we advance. Now, of course, that's why deity worship is important for us conditioned souls, because during Gora Arti, during Mangal Arti, during all the artis, we bring the form of the Lord, so that while chanting, this form of the Lord will manifest also because of the impressions that you have during artis.
I have many questions. Do you want to go forward?
Maharaj, you would like to add something to this? Any other angle to answer?
No.
I have one second question.
Yes.
So, and also there is one more question that regarding how we have to chant. So some says that we can chant loudly, some say that we have to just murmur, or some says that we have to chant in the mind. It feels like sometimes there is a bias in preaching within the ISKCON itself. Sometimes even the temple president came and said to me that you have to chant very loudly, that we should hear. If you chant, we should hear during the japa time. And some persons said to me, you should, if you are capable enough to chant in a voice that only you can hear it and not the other, then that is the best thing, and that is more valuable and more effective than chanting loudly. And some says that if you are even capable to chant just in the mind, that is even more powerful than the other two.
Yes.
So how we can pass through this bias actually?
Haridas Thakur was chanting 300,000 names. 100,000 were loud, 100,000 were whispering, and 100,000 were in his mind. But for us conditioned souls, your Prabhupada says you have to chant loud enough that you can hear it yourself, penetration of the sound to your ears, and that the neighbor can also hear it. So it's like,
cannot hear. The neighbor cannot hear.
Yes, can hear it.
Yeah.
So just the one next to you can also hear it. So it's like a modest chanting, not too loud, not too soft. Now, for example, when do you do mana japa? When you have no other choice and you are in a situation where you don't want to disturb others, like for example, you have no other choice because of your busy schedule and you are chanting in the train.
Yes.
So you can close your eyes and try to really, and then when there are people around you, it's a little bit strange. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Actually, when I was on Sankirtan, when I was Sankirtan leader, I had my own Sankirtan party. And because I was Sankirtan leader, I always get the most difficult brahmacharis in my party. All the others said, please, So I had one person when we would do shopping in the supermarket. At one point I lost him. He was gone. So I went back all the way in the supermarket, and then he was in a corner of the supermarket. There were like hundreds of people passing, like with his face to the milk products. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. He wanted to get rid of Maya, but everyone was like, wow, he's such a strange person. So that's not recommended. So if you are in a situation that you have no other choice, you can do mana japa in your mind and really focus on the chanting. But in our conditioned Kali Yuga state of consciousness, it's not recommended to chant silently.
But that is generalized. But considering the individual person, if those who are capable enough to do it, they can do it still, right?
Yes, if you are advanced enough to do it, like Haridas Thakur, he did 100,000 names in his mind.
Yes.
But he also chanted 100,000 names loud. So
there are three stages: Upansu, Vachaka, Upansu, and Mansik.
yes.
So it's
But actually the loud chanting is not japa, it's kirtan.
yes, Kirtan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj, for your kind attendance. Okay,
I have that question.
No, tomorrow.
maybe somebody else?
Yeah.
I have one question regarding this Padasevanam and Dasyam. For me, it's like the same. I don't know what is.
Padasevanam means you have your regular activities, but then you read a mail from the temple president, we need urgent help on Sunday to come to cut vegetables in the kitchen. So at that moment you engage in Padasevanam, but it's like part of your life. You engage in seva. See? It's like the beginning stage of becoming a servant. But Dasya means your identity is being a servant. It's like from morning to evening, everything you do is as a servant of Krishna. You see? And therefore it's on the number 7, it's like, yes.
Actually, we were discussing about the verdict, like which is the best one out of the 9 processes. So I remember the verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita where Mahaprabhu himself has given the final verdict, and his verdict, and I think his verdict is very important for us. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I will just read 2 slokas from Antalila. This is when Sanatan Goswami came to Jagannath Puri to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave instructions to Sanatan Goswami.
Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtan Bhagavat Sravan.
So this is the verse, Prabhu, which says, Bhajanera Madhe Sreshta Nava Vida Bhakti Krishna Prema Krishna Dite Dhara Mahasakti. So first verse says, among the ways of executing devotional service, the 9 prescribed methods are the best. For these processes have great potency to deliver Krishna and ecstatic love for him. Great potency to deliver Krishna and ecstatic love for him. So this is here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is glorifying that out of everything, these Navda Bhakti, Navavida Bhakti is the best one, all the 9 processes. And then the next verse is very interesting, where Mahaprabhu is saying to Sripad Sanatana Goswami, Tara Madhye Sarva Sreshta Nama Sankirtana Nirapradhe Nama Laile Paya Premadhan. Of the 9 processes of devotional service, the most important is to always chant the holy name of the Lord. If one does so, avoiding the 10 kinds of offenses, one very easily obtains the most valuable love of the Godhead. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is also giving his recommendation to us.
But that's the beauty about our scriptures.
Yes.
Is that, Prabhupada says this is the first and the foremost, and that without remembering Krishna everything is useless.
Yes.
There's only one way, it's kirtan.
Maybe truly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving only for Kali point of view, maybe because of us.
Yes, no, but that's the beauty of our scriptures, that you cannot say that, okay, now this is the most important. It's just to choose our dedication to chant.
Right.
But when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri, he was hearing 3 hours a day from Gadadhar Pandit.
Yes.
They were reading for 3 hours a day, and they didn't read about Krishna Lila. They read about Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says you should only chant 24 hours a day, but he himself was reading 3 hours a day also. So we have to see things in context.
Yeah.
Any questions from the Matajis, or shall we? it's getting late.
Some devotees have to go different cities.
Yes, so
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
we could speak for days on these topics. Thank you so much for your patience and your tolerance, and see you tomorrow morning.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you, Koti Dhanyavad. I think this is the great session. Like I say always, last time when I hear His Grace Ekshatagram Prabhu, I don't see my watch. So I can sit longer and longer here, but we have a limitation because of other boundary conditions. So thank you, Prabhu. We have to chant. Please chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Om Premanande.
His Grace Ekshatagram Prabhu ki
Srila Prabhupada ki
Prabhupada
jai.
ki jai. His Grace Bhakti Vimsana Swami Maharaj ki jai. Such a wonderful, such Prabhu, this was like you bring the churning the nectar, like complete churning, and you bring for each process you have completely made a whole review of all the literatures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and you bring for each item you have completely reviewed the whole thing. It was wonderful.
Very nice, thank you.
I think one of the most comprehensive study about Nagavida Bhakti, about 9% of devotion service.
Mission fulfilled.
Yes, very satisfactory, very
Thank you.
fulfilling.
Oh my gosh,